Well, Bruce, it's great to have you back, man. I appreciate you coming on here. I think you were probably like my second or third interview for the podcast back in
Okay.
2021. And I've got a lot of really good feedback from everybody, but
Yeah.
it seems like a lot of people just they relate with the crap that you were going through back then.
Oh,
So I wanted to have you back on to see, our interview was back in it was 4 years ago,
yeah.
and you were doing structural, and if nobody heard it, they should probably go back and listen to that, first, and then come back to this. But you were doing a lot of structural, doing a lot of Texas DOT stuff,
Mhm.
and you were doing more of the big red iron things. And
Mhm.
from following you and being friends for a while, I've seen that you have pivoted and are doing some different things. So I want to hear about, the journey from 2021 to now 2025, to see what has changed, what have you learned, and just kind of like, go from there, So start us back, back in 2021, what were you doing? And then walk us through up until now the best you can, man.
Wow, that's a journey, and when you talk about the positive feedback, I just if you heard the first one and you've ever reached out to me since then, I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate it. Kevin, thanks for letting me come on. I think
Yeah.
a lot of the reasons why people kind of related was I think we all go through the same stuff, and man, I I think I've grown a little bit in the last 4 years. I definitely have. I feel like I have more than anything, probably in the last 9 months.
Okay.
And a lot of that has to do with the journey that I was on, and realizing that every decision you make is ultimately the decision, or it's the right decision. Whether it's good or bad, it's the right decision, because where you're at now in your life, that's kind of like right now, I'm really happy. I'm a really happy guy. I've always been a happy guy, but right now I got a lot of peace, I guess, with the family and the wife after going through a lot. So back in 21, everything was going great, and it still is. Don't get me wrong. It still is. I love what we're doing now, and it's a lot of fun. But back in 21, we were doing big stuff, and we kept doing it. And then I think I talked about, showing your profits and making sure you were, doing stuff right and by the books, to make sure you showed that you made money if you ever wanted to go buy the house, right?
Hmm.
Or if you ever wanted to expand and keep going. So we did. We bought a couple more houses. We expanded. We showed the profits. We did it. We bought the big, not the big, but the lake house. So we're on the water now, which is really cool. And that was 22. That was 22. So the the summer after our interview, going into then, that's when we moved. So a
Hmm.
year after our interview. So like I said, everything kept going well. We were just like everybody else, getting stretched out on payments, trying to do it, but we managed to get it all done. Move into the other house, move into the other bigger shop, got the bigger land, and then, like I said, work was going great. Go Wild Fabrication was fantastic, and I had a blast. Unfortunately, the other side, the rental side, started kind of going bad. Not so much because we were doing, things were not going correctly. It was more like the people that were in the houses just
Hmm.
stopped paying. They were destroying, and these were nice houses. They just stopped paying, and then one lady took us like 10 months to get her out of an eviction. I know, and she was. It was actually in my old house, so she had that shop in the backyard. That
Hmm.
she stacked it
Yeah.
to the top, all the way to the top.
Really.
Yeah, and that was the same time that we got someone broke into the yard, stole the 350 big service. It was the best truck we had. We had just come from a big job. We had we had a Trailblazer and a Bobcat 260 on the back of it, and then we had two MIG welders on the back of it. We had three guys' tools completely stocked, and we had worked late, and we were heading right back out there at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it was like, man, just park that thing back there. We'll be back in like 10 hours.
Yeah.
And so the next morning we showed back up, and it was gone, man. It's I think I posted on Instagram and I was like,
I
it,
remember, yeah.
and so whatever. Again, nobody cares, right? Like,
Yep.
people are like, man, that sucks, and I'm like, oh, I know. That was the funny part. It's like, man, that sucks, and I was like, yeah, it does, man. So we, filed the insurance, but luckily we still had like three, four more welders. One of the guys, the foreman, he had the welder on the back of his truck. So we went out the next morning like nothing happened. So then it was a chase. Of course, we didn't get anything back. I actually found the guy on Facebook selling my stuff.
Wow.
Um,
What?
so so randomly, this guy reaches out and he's like, "Hey, I know this may be sound weird, but my name is so and so, and I think I can buy your stuff back for you." And I was like, "What the what the fuck is this, man?" I go, "Is this your hustle, dude? Is this your hustle? Is this what you do? You go rob people?" So, I talked to him and he says, "Hey, this guy has it. Just don't tell him I gave your information." So I was like, "Sure, man." So I text the guy, right, from a different number, and I was like, "Hey." And then he was like, "Who is this?" I was like, "Well, Joe gave me your number." He's like, "Who's Joe?" I'm like, "Joe's your best." Joe said y'all go way back, and he's like, "Okay, well, let's meet up." And I was gonna buy the Trailblazer, the 260. He sent me pictures of my shit.
Wow.
I know, it was nuts. So he sent me pictures of all of it, and I go, "Okay, yeah, man, no problem." He's like, I go, "How much do you want for all of this?" And he's like, "This is really nice stuff." I was like, "Yeah, I can tell. That is really nice stuff you got there."
You're like, I know.
And so he goes, "For this Trailblazer 325 and this Bobcat 260, I and the Multimatic, and I had two Multimatic suitcase, those small suitcase ones.
Yeah.
I had two of those." And he goes, "I need $6,000." I was like, "Bro, 6,000?" I was like, "Come on, man." I was like, "Would you do 5,500?" He's like, "Yeah, okay, I'll do 5,500." I was like, "You're the man." So I called the cops. I was like, "Yo, I found the guy. He's gonna meet me, and I'm gonna buy my shit back." He's like, "All
Yeah.
right." And then he calls me like two more times. I ignore the call, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to pick up." So I picked up, and he's like, "Yo, I don't know no fucking Joe." I was like, "What do you mean you don't know Joe? Joe and you go way back, man." He's like, "No, fuck you. What's your name?" I was like, "I told you my name. It was
Yeah.
also Joseph." And he's like, "Your name?" I was like, "Oh shit." He already caught me, so he didn't want to meet up with me.
Oh man, you
I
didn't get
know.
the address or anything?
No, he wouldn't give it to me. I was trying to ask
Oh,
him for it.
dang.
So
Oh,
yeah.
so
So
close.
I know. So I didn't get it back. So that was a slow process. That was a slowdown for us. But we just kept bidding. I kind of got. It wasn't so much I stopped doing the bigger stuff. I just stopped getting requests to do big stuff. It was more
Yeah.
requests to do the miscellaneous still. So I got into doing miscellaneous still, and that's
Hmm.
when we realized how important drawings were. Right,
Yeah.
the big stuff, you can get a set of shop drawings pretty easy. The miscellaneous stuff, that's when it gets really challenging. And
Hmm.
so I went on that journey of trying to find a good detailer, and I just couldn't. And then last summer, I was looking around and I just kind of realized I was, my body was hurt. I was probably drinking a little bit more than I should have been. Um, and so, I think we all kind of realize that when you get a little older, because I'm 39 now.
Yeah.
I'm hard headed, so it took me a while. Uh, but it's cool. So last summer, I didn't quit drinking because I'm not a quitter. But I pretty much stopped until like I'd save it for the weekends. I'd save it
Hmm.
for a Saturday, if that. And I started getting a lot more clarity in everything I was doing. Right. So at the end of last summer, I started kind of looking around, and then the rental properties started causing a lot of heartache and a lot of issues
Mm.
with people not paying on time, people destroying stuff. And so here I am trying to, work on Go Wild and all the other stuff. And then, in the background, I have, the five houses, three of them not rented out, right? Three of them weren't rented out at one time, and I was remodeling two of them.
Mhm.
So I'm doing it and I'm trying to hire people, right? And then I'm still trying to take care of the stuff at work. And so just a lot of irons in the fire. So we finally got it straightened out, and we've been, slowly uh, just trying to get back into, what right looks like as far as your company or as far as my company goes. And it's been a journey, man. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where we're at now, and we're still figuring out a lot of stuff, but not on the operational side. The operational side, guys are building, guys are good dudes. I'm out there almost all the time with them now.
Hmm.
I got a full time estimator in the shop, so she's bidding every day, all day. And then my wife, she actually joined the company, you
Okay.
know. And so, to anybody else out there that has a wife that uh, decently like wants to help you, I would say just let her do it and just let her really just take ownership of it. Because when you think about the only person who really does care about you, that does not want to see you fail, the only person is your wife, right? Your wife and your mom, maybe.
Yeah.
And so having her on the team has been just a game changer, man. And then
Nice.
with the drinking kind of going away, and then the relationship with my wife coming back to really just a strong foundation, kind of getting back into church. Not like trying to be the church guy, but just getting back into it, making sure I stay right with the man,
Yeah.
uh, and with the family too. So I've had a lot of good support with that, and what's really cool is you see a lot of guys in the welding community that are, you know, both, right? You have the one extreme over here that's just like piss and vinegar, mostly young guys. And then you have the older guys on the other side that I meet and I talk to that, Chad from Tic Tac, right?
Oh yeah, I know Chad.
Yeah. So Chad, I would say it's not like an official mentor thing, but, I can give him a call and he's so open and receptive. But at the same time, I really, really respect his time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the guys listening to this stuff, you reach out to certain people, and I do it too, obviously. Uh, you just got to remember that these guys are busy and they're running around sometimes like a chicken with their head cut off. And then you have somebody calling them asking for some advice, and we want to help. Like, I'm sure you want to help. And Chad, I know he wants to help because he's done it. And there's been a bunch of people reached out to me about the podcast and about my mentality and my thoughts on a lot of stuff. And that's kind of what it was back then, as far as like no one cares. It is what it
Hmm.
is. You got to get the job done. And as I may not say it the same way now, but it's still kind of true, man. I was listening to the
Yeah.
podcast and I just wanted to kind of refresh what I was saying. Like, in my head, I was like, man, I said it. I sounded kind of dumb, but it's still the truth, Like,
Yeah.
no one's come to rescue you on these jobs. No one's come to rescue you. No one's come to help. But again, if you know that earlier, then just like the drawings,
Yeah.
right? I had the drawings, but they're not good enough. I had to do something different.
Yep.
So I saw a gap in the market, right? I worked with Lex for a while, and Lex, do you know who Lex is? You
Yep.
met Lex, right?
Yeah.
So Lex is a fantastic dude. I like that guy a lot, and we did drawings together for a while, and he helped me, and hopefully I helped him too. And then he started getting bigger, and so I was like, yeah, you got to go do what you got to do, man. I would never ever hold anybody back, right? But that left a huge gap in what we were doing because he was
Yeah.
so good that when he left, when I stopped using him, not because he was just busy, right? And my stuff was turning over really quick. So I needed turnover really quick. I needed the projects back really quick. And I understood. I had to jump in line like everybody else.
Yeah.
So I went on a journey to find another detailer because he was busy. And so that was a long journey. And then about last October, me and this guy started working together, and he's been fantastic for our drawings. I needed him because we started a program called PowerFab. I think I told you about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about it at FabTech actually.
Yeah, that's right. So we started that, and that's been a huge game changer for us, man.
Hmm.
I highly recommend it. I'm not gonna like fully endorse it because we're still new to it, we're still learning, and there's a lot of stuff into it. So it's meant for giant companies, like I mean, $50 million plus fabrication type companies.
Hmm.
But if you use it and you know how to use it, you can bring it down to run with the small 10 plus kind of company, or maybe 8 plus company,
Okay.
right? But if you don't, it's expensive though, right? So it's like 12, 13,000 a year
Yeah.
just for the software. So it's a big risk on our side, but I hope, and I think, I got faith that it's going to pull through, because what happens is you have a detailer, and all those drawings that the detailer makes feed directly into the program, right? So if you do an actual detailed job, or you do like we call them quick bids. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll have people call me, or customers call me, not like general contractors, but I've reached out to a couple welder fabricators and actually put it on welding. No, no, it was the welding business owner page.
Okay.
The
Yeah, yeah, on Facebook.
DF, yeah, DFW. No, it was just welding business owners or something like that,
Yes.
which is just a hilarious page. I mean, it is fantastic to read the comments on there, and I don't know. Do you have any funny stories on that thing
Oh,
off the
geez,
top of your head?
the advice of what should I charge, and the people who say
Yeah,
just triple your material price. I'm
yeah,
like, oh my gosh, I want to like stab my eyes out. Like that is
yeah,
the worst advice you could. That's probably the worst advice I've seen on there. The worst. Like that is probably by far the worst. But I mean, so it's I feel like people giving advice need to know more context about
yeah,
what's going on in the shop, because you got guys from the pipeline trying to give advice on guys who are doing, $50,000 handrail jobs. And it's like, yo,
yeah.
it is totally different to, so, yeah, it's interesting to say the least. It really is.
My favorite is that troll. He's like 18, 19 years old.
Oh, that guy, yes, whatever his
God,
name
man,
is.
I don't even know, but he jumps on there and just starts running his mouth about his F-150 and all these contracts he's getting, and you come here, he's the man, and I'm just like, oh, this is funny. And then the how angry people get at him, it's just like, man,
Yeah.
y'all shouldn't be that angry at a child, right? Like, let the child be a child, man. That's what all 18, 19 year olds do. We're dumb. You ever met a fucking 18-year-old Marine? They're
Uh,
idiots. They're idiot. I
yeah.
love them, and I was one too, but we're so dumb,
Well,
right?
it's like everything that should stay in his head comes
Yeah.
out onto the computer. And it's hilarious that people watch people just go after this kid.
Because I wonder if he means it. I wonder if he's trolling, or if he's like, no, this is who I am, that guy. I
Dude,
don't know.
if you watch the comments, man, I think he believes his own stuff. Like I do.
Well, I
And
would
his
say confidence is important.
Oh man, and like his work isn't even that good. Like
Ah,
it's really not. It's not like it's probably not terrible, but like anyway, I'm not gonna get out. I'm
no, we
not
don't
gonna.
have to get into it.
We don't have to
But
get into that here,
I
but
was so
it
I was
is.
reading I was reading his post, right? And I was just looking at everybody just dogging them, man. And then
Yeah,
that's what they do on most of the posts. They just dog people, right? And I get it, man. It's a dog eat dog world. And you
yeah.
better come correct if you're going to put yourself out there. And I remember right before I wrote that post about helping people with drawings and detailed drawings, because I wanted to help people, man. I really do. I know how hard it is. And
Hmm.
I know the struggle that you guys are going through. And I'm still going through it sometimes. A lot of us have different things figured out. And I don't have a lot figured out, but a few things I do. And one of them is detailed drawings. I think I can help you.
Yeah.
And so I made this post about, look, I own a small welding company where, 10 guys, not a huge shop, but we have a detailer, and then we have an extra one that we do 1099 with. But one of our detailers had some extra time, and I was like, hey, you know what? If anybody wants to try, I can help you out with some detailed drawings. I can give you all the file types, the supports, the 3D, the CAD drawings, the DXF files, all the stuff you want, because it all comes directly out of Tekla, right?
Hmm.
So I I was like, if I post on there, they're gonna rag me. They're like,
Yeah.
how many have you helped out? I'm like, zero. And they're gonna go, you don't. And I'm like, oh shit. And so I was like, but hey, if you don't try, you don't try.
Yeah.
All right, guys are working. Guys are, you know, throwing the steel down. Right, they're getting it out there, and I'm in here like thinking like, should I do it? Should I do it? And I just did it, and I had some good dudes reach out that were just honestly struggling. Like, hey man, I don't know, never had to get drawings before till I
Mhm.
saw your submittal thing, and I was like, yeah man, it's what we do. And so I've been able to help a lot of guys, not a lot. There's been 6 guys, including you,
Yeah.
so far that we've talked to, and a lot of them, just not a lot. There's probably 4 of them have never submitted drawings before, right? And so it's like, what's the process? What's it look like? And I had the exact same questions when the first time a contractor asked me, hey, send me your submittals. And I was like,
Mhm.
yes, sir, no problem. I'll send them right over. And then I'm walking back to the truck, Google, what is a submittal? Like, how does it work? And so I think that was like 2017 or 2017. And what is a submittal? How does it work? And
Yeah.
so that's kind of where it started. I remember going back to the shop, and you wouldn't believe it. God was looking out for me that day. I had a random call that said, "Hey, how you doing? I do shop drawings and submittals." I was like, oh, "Submit? You do submittals?" He's like, "Yeah."
Really?
And it was like a couple hours after I got back from the shop. So
That's a God moment right there.
man, it was a God moment, dude. That whole job was actually that was my first structural steel job I ever did. And I don't know if I told that story last time, but it was a contractor who I did a bunch of handrails for.
Mhm.
And he goes, "Hey, do you do structural?" And I was like, no, not really." He's like, "Why not?" And I was like, I don't know. He's like, "Oh, it's really easy. Here are the plans. Just give me a price." I was like, "Okay,
He
sure."
bullied you into doing
He did. He
structural.
bullied my ass. He bullied my ass into doing structural, and then whenever I gave him the price, he was like 27,000. I was like, "Okay, here you go, sir." And he's like, "This is too much." And I was like, "It is?" He's like, "Yeah, it's way too much, man." I was like, "How much is it supposed to be?" You know? And he's like, "It shouldn't be more than 23." And I was like, "Okay, 23,000 it is." And yeah, he bought the material, right? So he wasn't going to let me mark up the material. He just wanted
Yeah.
the labor cost. And it was fine. 23,000 was plenty of money. I think we got it done in like 5 days, and it was only
Yeah.
3 of us doing it. So it was nothing. That was the same time I was going through the not me on drugs, but employees on drugs.
Yeah.
So it was. I don't know if anybody else has had that before, but that was a fun time. So, but that's all how the drawings got started. So
Okay.
we start looking at the drawings now, and then the guys we'll let them know what we're doing, like anybody on that Facebook page. And I was worried about everybody talking trash and running their mouth. And sure enough, man, when I posted, everyone just started reaching out about your podcast.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, and telling me that they've been following me for a while. And I was like, oh, that's cool, man. Thanks, buddy. I'd probably follow you too. I think you do cool stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was a cool interaction, man. I got to meet a lot of new dudes. I've been getting hit up by your podcasts the whole time.
Wow.
Every
That's
couple
awesome.
months, somebody will reach out and go, "Hey, I just heard your podcast." And I'm like, "Oh no, did I sound, uh, man, did I sound okay?" And, for the most part, everyone's like, "Yeah, you sound exactly how you are, man. Just kind of real and open." I had another guy reach out to me just a couple weeks ago. Really nice guy. He seemed younger, and he was like having a hard time getting the question out. And I was like, I gotta walk into this building. I don't want to be mean, but like spit it out, man. Like, what's the question?
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was a real simple question about it was when the engineer designs something dumb, what do you do? Um, and yeah, that's a great question. And
Mhm.
I'm sure I freaked out the first time I ever had that. And so I ended up just giving them what I did at the time was I gave them the price for what they wanted. And then in the bottom, I put, "Hey, I think I can make this a little cheaper." And then they come back with oh, you mean a value engineer? And I'm like, whatever you want to call it. Like if it's value engineered or cheaper, that's fine by me. Yes, I can do it cheaper or I can value engineer it. I know the value engineer sounds better, but I can do that.
Yeah.
So, and he was nervous because he didn't want to, give them a price for something that was built dumb, right? So it
Yeah.
shows that he's worried about like, hey, I don't think this is done right, which I think is great.
Hmm.
But at the same time, that you actually have to do what the engineer says, right? Like
Yeah.
we work for the contractor, and the contractor's only going to listen to the engineer and what the engineer says most of the time, until you can give them the value engineered part,
Hmm.
right? And then their ears will
That's
perk
the
up.
key. That's the key
Yeah,
that gets you in. Yeah.
it really is, man. And so, so that's for anybody. If you're struggling and you think that you're coming in too high, and you think the drawings are just not as uh, engineered as well as you could engineer them, with value,
Yeah.
you can always make that as part of your line items. And a
Hmm.
lot of a lot of guys, a lot of GCs love to see that
Yeah.
because it means like, hey, we're trying to save the customer money, and it's going to be just as good if it looks the same, right? Like that's what they're going for, is the look, right? So the architect designs it to look a certain way. Then the engineer's job is to actually make it look that way with the steel behind it. So we were doing a detailed job for another guy, and the engineer wanted everything uh, bolted, right? So he only gave us drawings, just flat lines on top of flat lines.
Hmm.
Beam goes this way, column goes underneath. No connection points, giant cantilever, right? And so no detailed connections of how the base plate sits or whatever. It's just like, send me the details. So the engineer literally just put the lines on the paper and, drew out the footer, and then gave no details on how anything attaches to each other. Right. So imagine being a guy who got these drawings
Yeah.
and you're like, you want it bolted? What does bolted connection look like for a giant cantilever, right?
Yeah.
And who designs that, right? The engineer's supposed to. Well, he doesn't.
Be
So the
lazy that
connection,
day.
a lot of them, yeah, a lot of them are lazy, or they don't have they don't do it every day,
Hmm.
so they don't have like those pre-made. You'll see details from engineers copy and pasted a lot, right? Because what they do is they call them draftsmen. So the engineer has a draftsman who takes what he says and actually puts it on paper for him.
Hmm.
So the engineer's in the background doing the math, doing the calculations, running the program that is now done by computers, right? And they go in and they verify the math on it, and then they give it to a draftsman and go, "This is what I want. Make it look like that on paper."
Yeah.
And then the draftsman's expensive, right? The draftsman's 100 to 150 an hour. So the engineer's like, just bare minimum, a little thing this big, and then we'll make them give us the details on how they want to connect it. But they
Yeah.
have to use AISC standards, and then they have to give it back to us to approve it.
Yep.
It's a racket.
Yep.
It's a racket. But the engineer, he won't do it. He doesn't have time, right? The engineer's charging 200-300 bucks an hour,
Hmm.
and so to have him do the detailing part, it's not worth it to him.
Yeah.
Which brings it to me. So
Yeah.
I'll take it and I'll create the detailed connections, AISC standards, and I'll send it back to the engineer for you. So if you get a complicated drawing in and you're not seeing all of it, well, what I'm going to try to do for you is take your drawings. Me and you will sit down. We'll have a talk about it. I'll ask you what you want, how you like it, like whatever. Because there's a lot of stuff on engineered drawings that are left open for discussion on how we want to
Hmm.
install.
Yeah.
And even the drawings we just did with you, we changed some stuff because it just needed to be changed, right? It was
Yep.
a design that you didn't like, and we changed it. And so the same thing for this one, this big cantilever. We built the connections, right, to AISC standards plus some, and so now it's all the same. And the engineer got the drawings back, goes, "Oh, these look great. However, I think we need to make your column a 16-inch thicker." And my buddy goes, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Yeah. Instead of a 1/4 inch column, we want a 5/16 column." Well, there are 5/16 columns, but you're going to go to a 3/8 because you're not going to find the 5/16 column most of the time,
Yeah.
right? So you have 4 columns that are 20 foot tall, and he just changed all of them to 3/8. He
Yeah.
just cost you, right? And he straight up told that engineer, he's like, no. He said, no, give me something else. And the engineer goes, okay. And he goes, how about a 12-inch flat strap around the top? And so now we just detailed a 12-inch flat strap around the top of the column
Okay.
instead of giving it a bigger piece of material.
Yeah, exactly, especially when it's
So
already bid. That's
I
like
know,
that's a deal, you know? That could be a
and
couple $100 right there.
it is a couple $100, and then
Yep.
with material prices right now going up anyway, every
Yeah.
couple hundred pounds you can save, man. That's huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we did. We did the design and then we sent it over back to him. We changed that for him, and now it's issued for drawings. So what he ended up doing was all the files that came off of it, like your DXF files. He
Mhm.
sent that. I already had them, right? Because it's coming out of you know my office, so I already had them. But what we do is we create a folder for him, a shared drive folder. So now Go Wild Fabrication, or Go Wild Detailing, whatever you want to call it. We create a share folder for you and us, and it's a permanent share folder. Lex actually taught me this one, and it makes it really easy to keep all of your drawings that we do in one central location. So
Yeah.
anytime we do updates, like we didn't email you with an update, we just put it in your folder, and then I texted or I sent you an email like, hey, it's updated. So whenever you want to go look at it, you can. That way, it's always in that folder. It's not going to get lost in an email,
Yeah.
and that's been a really good thing for us. We do it on all our jobs. So yeah, he'll get the drawings, and then he goes, hey, will you bid cutting these parts for me? Because he doesn't have a CNC.
Mm.
So I'm like, yeah, absolutely, man. So I'm no more expensive. I'm a little bit more expensive than a giant job shop, obviously, right? I don't do job work all the time, but it's small job, real easy. He didn't have to do anything, right? So I already had all the drawings. I sent them to my design program in for my plasma,
Mhm.
and it tells me how many inches and gives me a price, right? So
What program do you use for that?
well, that's designed to cut. You can put
Okay.
it in your. It's actually my favorite plasma cutter program. I don't know which one you use, but it's a all online um, design, uh, CAD, and then cut. So it's just one program. It's online. There's no USB swap, nothing. If you have problems, you can call and they parry in or whatever they remote in, and they can adjust everything on your actual program for you if it's out.
Okay.
Right. So
Interesting.
that's been yeah. So that's been really good for us. And then also in the we built an office for our actual plasma table room, and so the computer's in there covered. So he's in there. He has all of the folders that we have access to in the office. So we don't even have to email him anything. He gets on PowerFab or whatever it is that we're doing the program out of, and he can download all of those files directly from that PowerFab program.
Mm.
So it makes it real easy not to get stuff cross-haired, cross-wired, going to different. So we've had
You
a
miss
issue
different things, yeah.
and again, if you guys already figured out an answer to this, congratulations. I'm still trying to figure it out, but you know, version control, version control is huge for us.
Mhm.
And understanding like where we're at on different drawings, like because we will get stuff changed in the middle of fabrication. Not our fault, not their fault, just on-site stuff that got popped up that we didn't see was happening, especially on remodel jobs. You know, and
Mm.
opening walls up and seeing stuff
Yeah.
change. So version control is very important for us. So when we're out there working on something, we know through PowerFab and how we track our jobs that if something's been updated through to Tekla, if something's updated in Tekla, which is by the detailer way back away, then that feeds into PowerFab and then to PowerFab Go, which is in the shop. So if he changes something on his end on our PowerFab stuff,
Okay.
before I even go out to the shop, it's updated on PowerFab Go, and they can't withdraw those files. Like they can't down those
Interesting.
files. So there's no way if we flag it that way, and it now runs into a like a miscommunication of like what's
Mm,
supposed to be there and what's there. Then it'll say, "Hey, on hold, wait for update." And then we have to go back in on the office side and physically unlock it to be downloaded.
hmm.
So
Okay.
nothing can be fabricated in the shop until the PowerFab Go has been updated by the office. So you could have your drawings in there, you could have your projects in there, and then we could get slow one day and they go, "Oh, I'll just grab something out of the queue and I'll get cutting on it or whatever, get whether it's on the saw or on the plasma or it's on the layout table. I'll get going on it, and then that way I'm not just hanging out.
Okay.
It's but it has to be released to cut, and nobody releases it besides me or a project manager.
Mm.
So all the drawings are available. You can see them. You just can't use them.
So,
And
so,
so,
back it up a little bit. Give me like a 5 minute uh elevator speech of what Power Fab is and how you
okay,
guys use
yeah, I know I kind of jumped into that. Sorry. So
it.
power, so Power Fab and Power Fab Go. It's two Tekla products, Trimble products that work in conjunction with each other. It's a project manager software
Okay.
specifically designed to work with fabrication steel shops. And when I saw it, I thought, this thing is fantastic. I got to get it. I got to try it. And then I saw the price tag and I was like, oh my God, this is so expensive. But, it was right at the same time that I was kind of being done with the drinking and kind of, I call it coming out of the fog.
Yeah.
And if anybody's there right now, I get it. I understand, and it's tough. And I hope that you find a way out of it. And for me, it was just kind of over time, you know.
Hmm.
But anyway, so I'm coming out of the fog, is what I like to say. I'm losing weight. I lost like 35 pounds, just from not drinking. It's
Wow.
crazy. Uh, but anyway, I came out of the fog and I'm looking around. And I go, okay, in all this time I've had this company and it's never really failed me. It's always done really good. But in all this time, I'm still at the exact same place I was uh, in the beginning. I'm running most of the jobs. Now, granted, I have the office manager at the time, right? The estimator, a project manager. I had all those, but when they're not being led with a purpose,
Hmm.
you know, uh, it, it's chaos. And it was chaos for a while. And then whenever I came back in focus, when I came out of that fog, and we were still working the whole time, but when I came out of it, I go, okay, we need some real direction. And I'm not the guy to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the realest thing I've ever said to myself is, you're not that guy, Bruce. You're not that fucking guy. And by that, I mean, I'm not the guy who builds this giant business on my own.
Yeah.
I didn't say I wasn't a guy who built a big business, or I can't be a guy who builds a big business. I just can't do it on my own. And so I was struggling for so long thinking I could do it on my own that I just kind of I did the best I could, and I just kept running around, and things were changing, but in the reality nothing was changing because I was still doing most of the work.
Hmm.
Uh, Not the welding work. I haven't done the welding work in years. I'm talking about like the business leadership, business growing part. That was the one part that I really realized I need a lot of help to see where I'm going to go. And I realized after coming out of that fog that the first thing I need to do is get a process in place. Kind of with the Marine Corps, you look at these guys that are going overseas, kicking doors in. I mean, they're doing some amazing things, and they're 18, 19 years old, right? And when you think about the kind of responsibility they give these young dudes, even me, I was either in a TS skiff, you know, or I was in the back crewing or maintaining a helicopter.
Hmm.
And so 19, 20 years old, Bruce is doing that. And then and then we get out, and then we kind of have different expectations, but the Marine Corps held me to the highest standard I've ever been held to. And so I was like, why is that? Why can the Marine Corps do it? And it all comes down to just operating procedures, right?
Hmm.
Standard operating procedures, practice, 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 trusting your guys, trusting people in the field that you've trained them good enough that they're going to have the best interest in your company, hopefully. And so I realized to actually do that, you have to inspect what you expect.
Mm.
And so since then, I've been kind of like I was back in the very beginning. I'm up super early. I'm at work super early. I'm planning the day, and it's going great. And so the one thing I was missing was an actual operation, like an operating procedure. And so when I found Trimble, this Tekla program, that's when I was like, okay, this is something I can follow, right? There's directions on how to start a project and how to end a project on this platform.
Mhm.
Um, but like I said, it's just really expensive. But I took the risk, and it's been good since then. So you need a detailer. You need to have pretty much an in-house detailer, or you got to have someone that does really good drawings.
Okay.
And they can't do it on a older or pirated Tekla, because the older and I found that out by hiring people overseas, and they couldn't give me the right file formats. Right, so you need
Mm.
someone who uses a newer version of Tekla and is paying for it, right? So I bought Tekla structures, or I lease Tekla structures. You can't buy it anymore, and I have Tekla PowerFab. So you kind of need one to work the other, but it comes at a pretty expensive cost. So I found my detailer, and we'd work together, and then I pay for. So he's full time employee now. I He uses my Tekla subscription to do the drawings on, and we do quick bids and we do drawings. So quick bids are great, um, and we offer them not a ton, but we do offer quick bids. And what you'll get is a complete takeoff of the entire job, depending on what you're asking for. So structural steel is a good one. We'll do a quick bid of a structural steel, take us a couple hours, if that, and you'll get a 3D rendered PDF, right? So you can see it. And then if you want Trimble Connect, we can add you to Trimble Connect. If you have another IFC file viewer, like SketchUp, you can see exactly what we're going to give you in an amazing 3-dimensional kind of tour. And you'll also get your material list
Okay.
down to your cut list. Anything you can imagine, you can get it just from the
Interesting.
just from the quick bid. And what's great about the quick bid is, yeah, it's $100, but you're going to save yourself a couple hours of work,
Mm.
and you're going to get a really good takeoff. And what I do is, when we go through the quick bids, and before I send it back out to a customer, I'll go through it with my detailer, and we'll say, hey, I know you I know you saw it because it's your job, and I know you saw everything on it, but we saw something that is abnormal, and we're just pointing it out so you can see it. And so some of the stuff that we point out is stuff that you don't see unless you try to detail it,
Okay.
right? Or quick bid it, right?
Hmm.
So we'll go through what's important for us is the details on the quick bid, because that gives us a kind of a time reference for connection settings, right? So if we know there's a certain kind of connections they want per engineer or per AISC standards, we can go look at what's shown or not shown on the engineered drawings and get a better idea of what the actual detail cost is going to be. So when we give you the quick bid, we'll give you back, hey, these are the notes, this is the weight, this is the cuts. We'll tell you how much drop is coming off of this through a normal cut list.
Hmm.
So you can kind of get a better idea of what you're going to be bidding. And we'll also say, hey, whenever you give this job back, if you win and you give it back to us, it's going to be 22 hours, 30 hours to detail. And so what I didn't realize on detailing that I was always upset about was how expensive it is, until I started doing it, and I go, oh man, this is a lot of time,
Yeah.
because it's a good example, right? You got a one slope roof or a single slope roof, and you got to run a cantilever column or
Mhm.
cantilever beam to run through the column with your beam, and then to match it on there perfectly with base plate or with plates on the top, because you're going to bolt it and then
Mhm.
like the engineer called for something weird and put an angle, and everything's at a different on a different plane.
Yeah.
If it's on a different plane on height wise, and then it's on
Mhm.
a different plane left to right, right? So from left to right. So now you're in a three-dimensional thing trying to draw a plate on two different planes,
Yeah.
and you're like, it won't do what you want it to do.
Yeah.
So
So
sometimes
cumbersome. Yeah.
it is, man. And so it takes a lot of time to get really good at that. And even, I see Molten sometimes we look at stuff and we'll go over it and we'll start messing with it. And sometimes the computer just doesn't, it's not doing what you said it, what you're telling it to do.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get the detailing down to a cost where it's really affordable, but it's also the quality is going to be good. And if that's slowing us down a little bit, which I hope it doesn't, then I'd rather just be a little bit slower, but a lot nicer of a product.
Yeah.
And
Now,
so,
now,
go ahead.
with the quick bids, um, what is it? What is the reference? Like, do you need a CAD file for that, or do you just need a PDF that they send out? And then,
Yeah.
like, where does it get the ton? Like, can you detail out railings and stuff? And how, like, is it only fabrication time of the railings? And how does it know? Because, like, what if you bundle cut, pickets versus like chopping each one individually? Like, how does where is it? Where's the reference come from that?
So I'm glad you said that, because if it sounds like I didn't explain it good enough. So when I say quick bid, I just meant a material takeoff, and we go through the drawings for you,
Okay.
right? So if you send us a set of drawings, we'll open it up. We'll take your structural DS pages, we'll throw them into our program, and then we can build uh, a quick model of what you want, right?
Hmm.
Because there's things called auto connections on Tekla, and so we can auto connect. And again, it's not easy, but it's there and makes life super simple. And so when you auto connect, and let's just say you go off AIC standards, it depending on how tall your beam is how many bolts you're going to get, right? And so if you can go in and again, it's connecting dots kind of stuff, not that simple, but connecting dots,
Yeah.
highlighting the connections, and then assigning it a connection.
Mm.
And so now I can import the PDF into the actual 3D model. And now I'm picking those points on top of the PDF, right? So my plane view is on the 0 level, the foundation level, right? And then I have a PDF underneath my new grid lines. And
Mm.
so now I'm
Okay.
jumping to the grid line points and calling it a 4x4 column. And I'm telling each one of those columns they're 10 foot. You have a base plate on the bottom. You have a knife plate on top. You have a cap plate on top of that.
Mhm.
And then you're going to connect with 4 bolts. And so when these columns understand that's what they're going to do anytime a piece of steel talks to them, then that's when the next piece of steel touches it. It's detailed. It's done,
Gotcha.
right? It's not done perfect, right? Because it's quick,
Mhm.
but you'll get back like, hey, you have X amount of base plates, 3/4 inch, this many holes. Each one has a 18-inch all thread with a nut top bottom and the very bottom of that. So
Mhm.
then when I give you your drawing, when I give you this quick bid back, I'll go, hey, we've 17 columns, 18 beams, 150 something feet of all thread. You need 770 bolts, and the weight is 38,000 pounds,
Yeah.
and you'll get
Got
that
it.
back. And then for your handrails, what I'll do is I'll go, hey, you have 75 feet of this handrail, and then I'll screenshot a picture of that detail in there and go, you have 175 feet of that,
Hmm.
right?
Interesting.
So, and then the same thing for the stairs is like, hey, you have 2 sets of stairs. This is how many linear feet of handrail. This is how many treads you have, right? And then that way how many treads there are. You can get a price for that yourself.
Yeah. Price per
If
tread,
we,
price per
yeah,
foot of handrail and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just stuck because I can't. And other people ask, yeah, how do you bid, man? If you There's not enough time in the world to tell you how we bid because it's different every
All
time.
subjective. Yeah.
It's all subjective, right? And who are you bidding against, right? So that's what Chad actually told me that, and it is fantastic. And he said, he goes, you don't dictate your competition or I'm sorry, you don't dictate your prices, your competition does. And I was like, what? What do you mean? He's like, think about it, man. If you're going after a high end guy and all those guys are high and all the, people are high end and you come in normal and you're the lowest guy on there, they're probably not going to pick you.
Yeah.
But if you pick that same price for another job and you bid it the same way, and then it's a low end client and he gets a bunch of welder contractors in there all the time,
Hmm.
now you're high bid.
Yep.
But you bid it the same way. You're like, I bid it the same way, and it's not fair. And it's like,
Yep.
I know it's not fair, man. So
Yeah, it's funny because I actually just did a bid. I did bid for two churches recently, and the smaller of the bids, I knew that the kind of quality and detail that they wanted in this place, and it's self funded and things like that. So I knew it was gonna take a little while, but I knew that like I can't like I actually have to charge a little bit of a premium because I know that they are going to want not they're not going to want the lowest bidder. They're
mm,
not going to want the cheapest handrail because it's stainless and glass panel rail.
yeah,
And yeah, so it polishing out, it takes a long time. And I sat back and looked at my bid and I was like, dang, that looks expensive. But I put a I know that because of who the customer is, they're gonna want a little bit of a price break,
yep,
because it's what they ask for.
hmm,
So I know that it's customary in their culture to want to haggle on price. And so I play the game.
oh yeah,
I put in another 10% so that when they say, "Oh, it's too expensive. You need to come down." I can take 10% off and still be where I'm at, and they feel like they got a better number because my number was higher, and they want that quality, but not at that price. So they're
of
thinking that
course,
they're going to get, and they're getting the quality no matter what, but they're getting it at the price that they want too. You know,
yeah,
so you're right. If you're going after higher end clients, they don't always want the lowest bidder.
yeah,
They buy on price, or I'm sorry, they buy on quality, not price. And
yeah,
we have that actually written on our wall in our we call it our war room. And
yeah.
for last year and this year, we sought after clients who buy on value and not price.
I like it. I like it.
So yeah, that's awesome, man. So what is at what level did you get I guess I should say what number of guys producers out in your shop warranted you having a full-time estimator in house, and getting a detail guy and a project manager, like at what volume, maybe not volume, but maybe producers of work, because I feel like when I'm at four guys, I really feel like I need to hire on a project manager and to do do you see a project manager that can do bidding, or should you just leave that to somebody who does bidding? Or because I see in a smaller shop, I see that they might, if you get the right person, you might be able to get them to do both because they understand your equipment,
Yeah,
so they know, like us, our press brake, it's from the 50s. I
hmm,
assume it's freaking old. It's got the flywheel where you better watch out when you
oh
bend it
yeah,
because it's gonna smack you in the face. Like,
yeah,
we can't bend complicated things, and so I can't. I would find it hard to outsource our estimating without them being familiar with our shop. And because, like, we don't have a four-way die that you can just pick up, spin, and boom, you're ready to go.
yeah,
Like, you got to get the forklift out to like move this freaking die off there to change it, to change, well, maybe not the die, but the die holder. And so how, eh, like unpack that for me a little bit.
okay. So it sounds like you're asking like when do you make the jump? Like when, like what, at what point do you get the estimator?
Estimator, project manager, detail guy, You know,
Man,
are they strictly only doing those jobs? What is, like,
y-
what is your project manager do? Like, is he actually out there working, or is he, what does that look
so
like?
so right now, we had a full-time project manager for a couple years, and he was a fantastic individual, but it wasn't working in a sense of like, we were still missing some stuff, some things were dropping. And I wish he was still around sometimes when we have this new program, because the new program is supposed to stop all that. And it has for the most part when we use it. It works really well for that. Um, but I don't have a real clear answer for you. On the estimator part, it's hard because to find an estimator, most of them want like, either 90 to 100,000 plus, uh, like compensation, like not bonuses, but like, profit share type stuff.
Mhm.
At least the ones I saw like on, those recruiting websites, the ones that like, hey, we'll find you an estimator. And then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, great. And so I sign up and it's like, hey, here's the estimator. This is what they've done. This is what they want. And then I go, wow, how much does he, this is great. This is going to work out fantastic. He's
Yeah.
$110,000 plus a 1% commission on the year. And then it was, and he's 30% and he costs 30% to get his information. I go, what? And they go, we need $40,000 to release his information to you. If I hired him, if I hired him. And so I was like, huh? You want how much money to bring on a guy that I don't know is going to actually work?
Yeah.
Like his
That's crazy.
I'm not saying his resume was not impressive, right? His resume was super impressive. And if he did what he said, he'd be worth it, right? So if anybody's listening and you're like, you're an idiot because a good estimator is worth his weight in gold, I agree. And if you can pay him, like, good, I'm glad, man. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I can't. I couldn't pay that much money at the time. I still can't even pay that much money, right?
Yeah.
So we're well, actually, Chris, his last year, I think he made, before he left. That was my foreman. I
Yeah.
think he made like 110, something like
Okay.
that. So he did great.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, back to the whole point of the estimator. Uh, I actually took my office manager, and she sat with me for 2 years as I bid, and worked, and bid to learn how to do it.
Mm.
And so now she is actually bidding most of it. But what's really cool is we have a bidding platform. So there's a lot of ways to miss stuff when you're new at bidding
Mm.
compared to if me and you are bidding something. A good example is like, whenever you bid a set of, joist and decking, right? You think that the joist and decking is you sent it to Volcraft or New Millennium, and they sent you back the pricing, and it's like, okay, this is all I need for my joist and decking package. It's wrong. You need a lot more.
Mm.
And if you don't know that before bidding it, you could easily miss it.
Yeah.
And so when I think about, learning how to bid jobs, Jessica, my office manager, she was right here with me the entire time, every time. And so whenever I'm going through all this stuff and she's taking the notes and we're writing the stuff down, and this is before, PowerFab, and I'm showing her all the stuff that I've already missed before, so she doesn't miss it,
Yeah.
right? So it's been really good to have her kind of take that over for me, so I can start working on actual, like, getting jobs
Mm.
by going back out, shaking the hands, meeting the new construction companies. Because honestly, the last couple years have been the same customers over and over and over and over
Okay.
again, right? So I haven't had a chance to go after a bunch of new customers. It's just been keeping me busy, right? And so after we had all those people, 15 dudes, we shrunk back down to like 10 and then 8 and then shrunk back down a little bit more. And then now we're plussing back up again. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's like this. And I'm sure a lot of people go through it. If you're still here from listening to me last time, like, congratulations. Like, this economy, man, this is the first slowdown I've ever seen.
Really?
I don't know if you guys have slowed down at all, but we have definitely. I saw, a slowdown on jobs coming in, jobs going out to the bidding platforms, you know. Uh, but that's when I was like, I got to go back out and find more work. This is
Yeah.
fun for me.
Hmm.
This is the exciting part. I love welding and fabrication, but I actually love to sell and get new jobs even more. That's like my real favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, and then actually being out in the field with the guys.
Hmm.
I'm selling my I'm selling the badass 2023 F250 Lariat. I'm over it, man. Put me back in a utility truck.
That's awesome.
I tried, man. I tried to be bougie. I tried to
Yeah.
have the nice stuff, and it's not me.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable in it.
Yep.
You know, I love it, but I'd much rather show up to a job site in a utility truck.
Yep. You
You
can
know,
still have a nice truck, a nice utility truck that's a couple years
have you
old,
se-
and
have you seen Chad's?
I have, yeah.
Shit, that guy's thing is crazy, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I
You know, so
I've actually thought about so I have a 2015 Ram dually. It's got the nicer, it's the limited trim package, so it's got
yeah,
all the embroidered seats and stuff.
it's
I bought
comfortable.
it like 5 years old, you know what I mean? It wasn't brand new, and I thought I would really like to throw like a small low profile utility body on there.
Yeah,
Like that would be
absolutely.
cool, you know what I mean?
You
I still
should.
get the bed space. I can haul the camper with it, and I still have my tools with me because
That's right.
like with my shop being so far away, you know how many times I just need my impact sockets or my like everything. I just want a basic set of tools on my truck, but not clutter up my bed and have to like take the tonneau cover off and pull the pack outs out and just to get a screwdriver. You know what I mean? Open the
Oh, I
drawer.
do.
I just want a screwdriver there. You know what I
I just
mean?
want a screwdriver. Give me my screwdriver, please.
Yeah, yeah. So
But it's
no,
get the tonal out. It's open the tonal cover. It's flip the Milwaukee box back up because it's too tall to
yes,
get shut. I'm just like,
yes, no.
so I'm ready, man. We're gonna probably trade my wife's car in too. She has a newer Ford Explorer, like
Mhm.
23, and so we're gonna trade her car in and get an older Grand Wagoneer.
Okay.
So a bigger, nicer, but used
Hmm.
vehicle. I sold my Malibu. I had a badass 2020 23-foot LSB Malibu for wake surfing. Like nobody used it.
Yeah.
I live on the lake, and my I built a lift for it, and it's been up in the lift. And my wife doesn't want to drive it because it doesn't turn very well. If anybody's ever been on a surf boat, they don't turn very well. And so she's like, I don't want to drive it. I'll run you over. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably a good idea not to drive it then. And so then my kids, all they want to do is tube, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in this super expensive boat, and they're like, I want a tube. I'm like, what about surfing? What it's meant for? And she's like, I don't want to surf.
Yeah.
Okay, boat's gone. So I just sold the boat. I bought. So anyway, I sold the boat, selling the truck. I sold my toy hauler because we
Oh
live on
yeah.
the lake.
Yeah.
All I all I wanted a toy hauler for was going to the lake, or something like that. And now we bought the lake house, and so we're just on the lake all the time. So the toy hauler was sitting there, and I didn't want to sell it just in case I needed it,
Yeah.
right? And I realized how dumb that is. And I look at my boat and how much it's set. I'm like, oh, that was a dumb decision. And I love boats,
Pay the stupid tax. That's all.
dude. I'm paying the stupid tax, man. I am paying it, and but it was funny. Somebody said that like every decision you made uh, led you to right where you're at.
Hmm.
And if you are happy where you're at, if you have a good life, if someone loves you and you got kids and they love you, and you got a good family, whatever it is, like you made the right decisions to get
Yeah.
you to that point. There's just hopefully some improvements you can make going forward, and that's kind of where we're at now. Let's make these improvements. The wife is going through. If anybody else, I don't know how many people are in my shoes. I only assume no one because I don't think anybody else makes the dumb mistakes I make. Um, turns
So
out
you
that's
so
not
you
true.
think so you think
Yeah, so I think, which is,
there's
but
a
we,
cycle to us welding business owners, and
God, man,
it's just a matter of when you go through that part of the cycle.
and I'm so, and the best part is getting on this podcast and hearing people saying I went through it too. And I was like, oh, wow, we're the
Yeah.
same. We both don't think before we do things. Solid.
Well, so that's part of why I wanted you to come back on is because you at the time that you came on, you were talking about diversifying
Yeah.
from the welding and getting into real estate.
Yep.
And we like personally, we are looking into doing that too.
Nice.
More with, like, a short-term rental type deal
Yep.
with, because we're here by the Pocono Mountains, and we're, like, an hour and a half from New York and an hour and change from Philly, so, up in, like, the right where we're at is a good spot for everybody to have a weekend place, and we're thinking about doing, you know I mean, random side note, we're looking to do, like, geodomes and, like, good glamping
Yeah.
type of stuff, but, like,
Absolutely.
how has that like, are you still looking to diversify out, or have you doubled back down on the business? Because there's always that
Yeah.
rub of like, well, if I put my energy back into the business,
Yeah.
and which I've done for the last 10 years, and then I end up with like, and then when things kind of, start to not go off the rails, but you have some difficult times, and it's like, well, crap, like put everything I've owned back into this business, and here I am, there's
Yeah.
I had to get rid of these people, and they weren't a good fit, and then somebody got hurt, and it's just, there's only two of us now. Like what, like we have all this equipment, but I've invested so much into it. Like, do I double down back into the business and build it back up, and do I hire 10 more guys and an estimator and just make it work, and so that we can grow to the point, but like there's also the the wisdom of like, hey, you know what? Like like, having a smaller business that is run well with guys who care, you also are afforded the time to be able to take off to be like, I can actually work 45 hours this week and see my kids, you know what I mean? Rather than miss those years of working 60 hours to build something, to just have it be, it's still kind of fragile. It's still a business. It still responds to the market and the economy. So,
Yeah.
where are you at with that as far as, are you pouring everything you've got back into the business? Are you still looking to diversify? Do you have those rental properties? And, what does that look like for you?
So I still have. So we bought another house, my house that I live in. So we have the five. We have the five just rentals, and we have one up for sale right now because again, we just kept running into issues with bad renters.
Hmm.
And so you asked me that, we talked about it last podcast, and I was all on board, right? And I finished the real estate stuff. I never really got the license because I didn't need to, right? I was working. I was just like,
Hmm.
okay, well, I finished the course and I should go get the license. But then I found out you have to have a sponsor and you have to work for that sponsor part time or full time. You can't just get a real estate license and then be able to open. I thought,
Yeah.
again, dumb for not checking. I thought you could just get the license and be like, okay, you can jump on MLS now and look at stuff. It's
Yeah.
not how it works. I was like, I'm not gonna go work for that person. I don't even like those people, man.
I just want the shortcut to the MLS. That's
Yeah,
all.
man, that's all I wanted. And then, but what was cool was, if you want to sell something and you think you can do it, there's people who would just take $100 and they put your house on MLS.
Hmm.
You don't need real estate agents. I don't like real estate agents most of the time. There's a couple good ones out there that really want to help you, but a lot of them just want to push, just buy, 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 buy. And I'm just like, ah. So I never really followed through with that because I didn't want to be just a salesman. I wanted to be able to give a product that I loved giving, and I'm happy and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I decided was, I was like, the company is what I want. We asked about the 9 to 5, and remember, you go, haven't you thought about it? And I go, I have never thought about it because I got nothing to go to. I still got nothing else to go to, right?
Yep.
So I'm doubling, tripling down, man. This is, I love it. I love what I do.
Mhm.
I love the detailing part. I really do love that part of the company. Um, I hope we can give out some really good products. The other side of it is, what does a Go Wild look like with sober Bruce all the time?
Mhm.
What does it look like with the guy who never left the field, who somehow is able to get a decent estimator in there, a decent project manager, and is the field supervisor, and is running around to the jobs all the time and just making sure people are being safe. Because that's really what it is, man. If your guys are being safe, um, and not with the typical welding mentality of just get it done, because that breeds bad performance. It breeds sometimes an unhealthy level of like job completion means leaving on time,
Mhm.
right? We said we get out of here by 4. We better get out of here by 4, and people are doing it, and it's like, all right, it's 4 o'clock, let's go, and it's like, we didn't. Oh, it's fine, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
It breeds unhealthiness, I think, and so with the attitude of what we're going for is like safety is one of our top priorities. Um, and like we were talking about, how do Marines do it? Well, they have standard operating procedures for everything. There's an easy way to do everything in the Marine Corps, and it's just a matter of repetition, practice, and small unit leadership. So having a good team that they all have the same goal, right? They all want to succeed. They're not worried about money because you're paying them decent, right? They're not worried about you getting mad or yelled because, like, hey, here's the goal, but the ultimate goal is that we never come back here.
Mhm.
That's the ultimate goal, guys, to never come back after we leave to fix something.
Mhm.
And after last year, I see, and we had a lot of financial issues last year, but due to the rental houses, not because of Go Wild. It was the rentals where, like I said, people not paying, people destroying stuff that cost personally Bruce and Dina quite a bit of money. But Bruce only has one job.
Yeah.
It was Go Wild. So unfortunately, Go Wild suffered a little bit because of it, but you know, Go Wild also made the money to buy them.
Yep.
So it was kind of relying on Go Wild to make sure they didn't or they got rented back. And I think I had just a lot of irons in the fire
Mhm.
all over the place. And so even when you're a super high achiever, or not so much like smart wise, there's a lot of smarter people, but I try real hard and I'm always going after the next goal, and I fight, I fight, I fight. And then to get beat up so bad by things out of your control,
Yep.
it was real demoralizing for me, right? Because it's like I did everything I was supposed to do. I worked, I bid the jobs, got the jobs done, everyone was happy, and then I look over, I'm getting hit from behind the head on these rental houses, with them being empty, with people screwing them up, with people complaining about like I just all the stuff, you
Sure.
know, and I'm just like, it was bad, man. And I think I think alcohol chased a lot of it away,
Mm.
and it made it easier for me. And then when I finally stopped, and I was like, okay, there's some issues we got to take care of, and that's what I ultimately figured out is if you want to have those multiple revenue streams of rentals, because it's smart, you you got to have the extra money, right? I stretched myself so thin to get as many as I did that I think it hurt me in the long run.
Mm.
When Go Wild slowed down, and again, slowed down, it was still making money, right? It was still covering its bases. It was making the payments. It was making, none of my guys ever went without a paycheck, you know? Um, yeah, so none of my guys ever went without a paycheck. I never had any issues with that. It was more just big ticket items were coming out from the rentals, and then I'd have to cover it somehow. And when I was covering it, that's when it started getting kind of bad.
Mm.
And so, but coming back in, we're good. Everything's solid. We're going to sell one of the houses because we just keep having issues with it. And then 100% focused has been back on Go Wild. And what I realized, those 60-hour days we keep talking about that were easy when we were, in our 20s and early 30s, that get really hard. I've realized that I can still do it. I can still do hard things. I think for a while I kind of forgot because I was doing easy stuff, right?
Okay.
And I think coming in late to work sometimes just because I could.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are working, no big deal, right? Coming in late sometimes, maybe having a drink early, you know,
Mm-hmm.
at work kind of hurt. So, you know, it never got to a point where we got called out for anything bad that we did, but mentally and, I knew it personally. So fixing that and then coming back and now looking at it, I see everything that happened. Go Wild was always profitable. It always did a good job. The things that were taken away from me and my family were actually the rental houses.
Mm. Okay.
That's what was hurting us. And we had tried so hard, and I was so proud of them, right? Nobody in my family had ever done anything that bought all these. No one's ever done that. Like, I was so proud of it. And I was so proud that I let it hurt me.
Mm.
And so that was a huge realization I had, that the pride, man, the pride I had and all the stuff I was doing, I was so proud of it. I was so proud of all the stuff we were doing because it was hard work and it was dedication. It was late nights and it was fight, fight, fight. And so when I started losing the battle on some of the things that were not in my control, like bad renters, uh, I kind of was like, oh shit, what do I do?
Mm. Yeah.
Right. And it was hard. It was hard, but we figured it out and just decided that the wife's going to come back and work with Go Wild, help me out a lot. We changed out. Chris decided he was ready to go out on his own. So, we shook his hand and say, good luck to you, man. I wish you the best. And, we still talk and he's doing good. I got another couple guys I've been working with, partnering with, that have been asking me for help with the detailed drawings even
Mm-hmm.
before I offered it to everybody else. So that's been pretty good. We started getting back into, smaller structures. We're bidding big stuff, but we're knocking out a ton of just pay next day jobs.
Nice.
And it has been fantastic. If you guys ever get in a money crunch, which trust me, man, we had like 400,000 out in the air floating around.
Hmm.
Like, where's my money, guys? They're like, oh, haven't
Yeah.
been paid, haven't been paid, And then what am I do? Put a lien on the city? City don't give a
Right.
shit. We just did a job for TCU, man, Texas Christian University. I went there. They've owed me since the summer. They owe me like $4,000 on a
Wow.
70 something $1,000 invoice, and I'm like, why? It's been it's almost when I started last year. Like, where's my money? And they're like, haven't been paid.
Phew. Dang.
So we're calling all the time, and it's like,
Yeah.
so though that's what killed us, man. And I was so confident that people were gonna pay me when they said they were gonna pay me, and they fucking did it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell, man? And we're talking not 10 grand, we're talking $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking $120,000 checks, $150,000 checks that they go, hey, it'll be there next week, no problem.
Month
Never
later.
came in. 2 months later, 3 months later,
Yeah.
and I go, what the hell? They go, well, city denied it because some plumbing company over there didn't dot their I on the G702 or G703. I'm like, well, what does that plumbing company have to do with me?
Yeah.
Well, it's all one. It's all one.
One submittal. Yeah. One submission
And so when
payment.
one guy messes up, it messes it up for everybody. And so, like, I'm not even joking. Like, I never wanted to be in politics, but I want to be in politics just to make something change in the contracting world so we don't get screwed over, right? The GC's like, I didn't get paid. I go, you didn't get paid what? How much money did you have in this job for me,
Yeah.
right? What did the percentage on top of my invoice do for you?
Yep.
I don't think you did a damn thing the whole time. You stood there and watched me do it.
I'd vote for you.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm sure my enemy or whoever it was would be pulling up this podcast. Look at this guy. He's crazy. You can't trust him. Look at him. He's all over the place.
Yeah, right. So what do you think was you mentioned SOPs and
Yeah.
implementing SOPs. What do you think were what were some of the first SOPs that you implemented and developed? And what do you think were some of the ones that really honed in your guys and moved the ball the most?
Uh, so that program gives us a shipping list.
Mm-hmm.
So when we send a job out, we can print the shipping label on it, and that has every single part that was detailed on that job on it. So if you just, there's no writing stuff down anymore. It's not telling, hey, new guy, go grab the Weatherford job. Hey, Jax, go grab the Weatherford job, right? When you talk to a guy about grabbing material for a job to install it, they think of two things: um, I-beam and columns. That's
Yeah.
it. When they got the stuff ready for a job, it's the I-beams and the columns. It's your main pieces.
Hmm.
So everything else gets forgot. But when you have it detailed out with us, we give you the shipping, or the shipping label comes with a full list of bolts, washers, nuts, all thread, connections, assemblies, everything,
Okay.
right? So that's been a huge one for us, not forgetting stuff at the shop. The time tracking has been really good. So when we create a work order on our side of the house, we send it to the PowerFab Go, which is now on the floor side of the house. Excuse me. So when the PowerFab Go pulls up, they already have work assigned to them inside PowerFab Go. So when you get to work, you can pull up the iPad, the computer, whatever you're working on, and you can pull up either if something's been assigned to you or if it's in the queue. If it's in the queue, you can go open it up and go, hey, this job has X in the queue, and you can print your checklist,
Mm.
or you can have your checklist on the screen with you while you're cutting, right? And then what you do is you kind of clock in or you clock out on the app.
Hmm.
So then you start, and then whatever you get done, you just check off, and then after all your parts are cut, you click on it, you clock out of it, the job, and that program now sends it back to PowerFab, and now your hours are tracked on fabrication for that job.
Mm. Okay.
So there's been a lot of different things on it that have made our lives a lot easier.
Nice.
But it all comes from good drawings. It all comes from good drawings. It's impossible to do it without. Think of how many jobs you go, hey, just add 2 inches to that thing so we can verify it in the field,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And remembering that stuff is sometimes harder than you think. But the program, if you tell it to do it in the program, it remembers for you,
Mm.
right? That's all stuff you can modify in it to adjust your cut list, your tolerances for your holes. So
Hmm.
what we have to do for all of our DXF files that we send out, if it's calling for a 9/16 hole on a 1/2 inch bolt, I'm going to go ahead and just go to a full 5/8 or a 3/4 hole for a 1/2 inch bolt. It's not worth it,
Yep.
right? It's fine. And so I know that a laser, I wouldn't have to give it tolerance, right? But because it's going to my plasma, and my plasma is good, but it's not always perfect, especially in 3/4 inch,
Hmm.
right? Or 1/2 inch, it'll cut a decent hole, but I want to give it a little bit of extra room in case there's deflection on that tip, right?
Yeah.
And so the program already knows that I want it. So whenever I send out those files, it already comes holes bigger, right? Because in the program, I said, hey, all the DXF files with holes on the slop for that, we're going to end up giving it a 1/4 inch instead of, or an 1/8 inch instead of a 16th.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's a lot of different things it can help you with.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. What what do you think what do you think has been the hardest thing for you to learn in the past 4 years since we first talked?
Oh, humility, man.
Yeah.
Humility for sure. Yeah, it's been
Okay.
humility the whole time. Yeah, it's always been humility. I've always had a problem with it. You know, I just always tried real hard. I always thought I just need, like, when we went to, yeah, this was after warrant officer school, right? So I went to be a warrant officer in the Marine Corps. I just retired, by the way. So I just retired after 20 years,
Nice.
and 20 years in like 4 months.
Heck
And
yeah.
so, but I retired as a warrant officer, and I went to warrant officer school, and it's called the basic school, and it's a
Hmm.
Marine Corps. It's the officer course. It's different from regular officers in being a little shorter, but you're going against other, late 20s, early 30 active duty Marines that are same age about, but they're active duty. So
Mhm.
they're always just doing Marine Corps stuff. And then I get thrown in there with them and I do the same course as them as a guy who's been welding, right? And when you think about the intel field, because I'm an intel Marine, all the other intel Marines that were reservists on the outside world do intel work.
Mhm.
So they're like, what do you do, Bruce? I was like, I'm a welder. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I own a welding company. They're like, cool. They don't even know what that means, right? They're active duty Marines that have been that have been, in there since they were 18. So they're like,
Yeah.
welding's cool. I'm like, it is cool, man. Thanks. Uh, but I had a chip on my shoulder, right? I was a reservist, and so they talk shit about reservists. So I just made it a point to outdo everybody on everything, right? And that was my only goal the whole time, was just to win.
Mhm.
And so it was fine. We had a good time, but I was like, the guy's just like, wow, you are trying really hard. I'm like, are you guys not trying hard? They're like, well, we're just doing it. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, and and so that mentality of like just trying to work real hard
Mhm.
and get stuff done and not fail. Well, whenever those houses were failing me and the people were doing that, it was just like keep fighting. And when the jobs were failing, and when some of the ones weren't doing well, it was like, oh, it was just this one job. It wasn't just the one job; it was multiple jobs that I just didn't see because the errors on them were so small that you don't see the $800 error, right? You
Yeah.
don't see that. It's hard. But when you are switching to smaller type jobs, the profit margin may be a lot bigger. It may be like a 200% profit margin. Um, but your total overall money coming in is going to be a lot smaller too, right?
Mhm.
So if you do a dumpster gate for 5 grand, huge markup on it, right? Compared to your material cost and your labor cost, there's a really good markup. But if you're back there, if you have to go back one day,
Yep.
it's gone.
Yep.
It just turned into a loss.
Mhm.
So, understanding that, because if you're not looking at the numbers every single day, you know, it's hard to understand where you're going to be losing money at. And that was another thing that people started asking me questions when I started trying to get better and learn and grow. They were asking me all these number questions about my business. And I was like, what's the profit loss statement say? And they're like, you don't know? I'm like, does QuickBooks do it for me? Am I supposed to be tracking that?
Dude,
So then
yeah.
you're
I
doing you're, go ahead.
I had the same problem, man. We for the longest time, and even still now, doing 10-hour jobs is, a roof ladder or something like that. Like you're gonna come across them, like 4 or 5 step handrails. Like you don't want to turn them down because, like you said, it might be something different, or it might lead into something else. But
It might
it's
lead into something else. Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
So, like, I really try not to do those, but you end up doing them. And when you're bidding them, if you don't, if you're, the one of the reasons why we moved to Job Shred was because we had like our work orders were just a piece of paper with all the information on the front, and then lines on the back for you to put your name, what you did, the time that you had, and then the date that you did it. And I know that I'm not getting 40 hours of billable time on this sheet for your 40-hour paycheck. So, like, where's the difference there? And, did you fill out the forms? Oh, last week I forgot to fill out for 2 days. Well, I think I had this much time. I think I had that much. And I had no clue as to what was going on, like, at
Yeah.
all. And it was just such a, and on things like, a roof ladder, we make them out of aluminum. Like my guys now are really good at getting them done in, like, dude, we can knock out a roof hour from start to finish in like 6 hours. Like
Yeah.
it's really not that big a deal. But you put 10 hours in on the bid, and if they mess up one time, well, guess what? Like, if you put 20% on top of that roof ladder and you're over by 2 hours, you just gave them that roof ladder. Like, you really did. So, in order to track that And, I feel sometimes that I'm almost becoming real nitpicky about things, for hours, cuz like, there's a fine line between letting your guys know your expectations for things and then also not killing them with like the details of, with our stuff I try to break out like, hey, this is the cut cope material process side of things. If you've got excess plasma work, there's another clock in line for that. Shop fab is this, and then maybe I'll give them details and stuff like that. But you know, to try to keep them on track, not even keep them on track, keep them like, you know, accountable for things of like, hey, do you think was this enough time? Was this not enough time? Like it helps me get better at bidding because like, look, I'm doing bids all the time. I'm just throwing numbers out there of what I think I can do them in, and then
Yeah.
you have to add 20% on top of it because they're not you and they're not as efficient. And it's things like that where keeping track of my numbers is was really really hard to do. And putting standard operating procedures in for stupid stuff like we just started implementing shop chores
Okay.
of things to do because
Yeah.
everybody's like we have our reorder thing. And uh I mean this is going off on a little bit of a tangent, but like we used to have an ordering sheet of like all the things that we needed, and then we would go through and check out like, do we have enough of this, do we have enough of that, do we have enough of that. Like half the stuff we don't like, we got rid of half those machines. We have all new machines, and all like that list is kind of garbage now. And we haven't redone this list for like I've been for like a year and a half. But like then we're out of things. We're out of paper towels. Well, did anybody put it on the ordering, because we have an ordering sheet because Dylan does our ordering for like shop stuff. I like, did anybody put it on the ordering sheet? Well, no, we forgot. Okay. Well, like now we're taking 30 at the end of every week, which is Thursday afternoon. We're taking 30 minutes. We're going to sweep the shop. We're going to take out the trash. We're going to go over this checklist. We're going to blow out the machines because everybody talks about blowing out the machines, but nobody ever actually does it. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
I don't pack my guys' schedule that much. Like they, when they hit hours on when they come in under hours on things, you know, I would love for them to be like, "Hey, we need to put new brake lights on this one trailer. Can I just go do that real quick?" But like they never do that. They don't care. They're just there for you to tell them what to do. And and that's part of my issue with like I don't schedule them to say go put the brake lights on this. You know what I mean? But doing like having things like standardizing standard operating procedures of writing it down, because if you're not able to point to it where it says, because oh my gosh, how many times have you told somebody about something and then they go and they do it a different way and be like, hey man, we talked about this. Oh, I don't remember us talking about that. Okay, got it. Well, guess what? I need to write it down. And
Yeah.
and honestly, it's kind of, if you really take ownership of it, it's your fault for not writing it down for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Nobody's ever going to love your business or care about your business more than you do. So you know what? It's your job to guide them and to really hold them accountable. And with the SOPs, you're able to say, "Hey, this is our SOP. It's in your file. Why didn't you do that? Oh, you forgot. Okay, got it. Well, do better next time." And then if that becomes a repeated thing, then you can address it from there. And I guess I kind of got off track of where I was going with this. just
It
just to,
happens.
just,
It happens.
just to
Well,
relate
I
with
remember.
you about the
Well,
SOPs, man.
I remember you talking about the SOPs, and all I can say is like there's a couple ones like the salute report, which is your size, your enemy, your unit location, your time, and that's a Marine Corps thing, and it's all it is a basic reporting thing, right? And it gives the brass like, hey, this is an update, a situational awareness. This is
Mhm.
where we're at. This is who we see. This is the size of them. This is what's going to happen. This is what we think, and this is the time that we saw. And so you can kind of do that with almost any of it. And like another one being, uh, your is if there's any Marines that know OODA loop, you ever heard of OODA loop?
No.
So your OODA loop is it's this process designed by some fighter jet pilot a long time ago, and your goal is to observe, uh, decide, act. So orient yourself, observe, decide, and act,
Mhm.
and that should be the basis for any problem. I And it's like you get to it, you observe it, or you get there, you figure out where you're at, you see the problem, and you go, "This is what I'm gonna do," and then you're gonna do it. And so the faster you can OODA loop something, you can outcycle somebody else.
Mm.
And if you are constantly in the idea of like my OODA loop has to be faster than their OODA loop, then when we both see a problem, it's like whoever's OODA loop is going to be faster, whoever can see it, whoever can decide what it is or decide the action and then actually do. You can't just decide what to do and then not do it, right? That's the key point is you actually have to do it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to come across more problems,
Mhm.
right? And then this time you may be in a different area. You may be inside of a building, right? And that's going to change your decision. So you have different decision points you have to make. And so I really want to try to help the guys. And we've been doing a lot of like just practice, like here's a situation, we get to the job, we see it might rain later. What do we do?
Mhm.
Well, we get there and I'm like, no, 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 like what's the first thing we knock out? Well, it's like, it's going to rain later. They're like, I go, it's going to rain later. We should do the outside first. I go, yes, yes, that's what we do. We get there, we orientate ourselves, right? Like, hey, what's happening here? And we see a decision point. Like we see a problem in the future. Like it's going to rain later, guys. That's a problem.
Mhm.
All right. Let's say, hey, let's decide what we're going to do about the problem we already know about now instead of wait till it starts raining on us. And then we have to get everything out of the way because we decided to start inside the building because the sun was on us at the point and we didn't want to be we don't want to be out in the sun. We wanted to be in the shade. Right. So there's
Yep.
just a lot of different ways you can try to help people understand a situation. And when you think about it, the reason why business owners are business owners, it seems, is they're just good problem solvers,
Mhm. Yep.
right? And who's the best problem solver ever? Isn't it like Elon? Like that's all he does. He just goes around to his different companies and problem solves,
Yep.
right? Hey, what's the issue? How can I help you? And that's kind of be our goal, right? And so when I'm out here helping the estimator or the project managers, like I've already done what you've done a bunch.
Mhm.
What can I do to help? And so learning that humility part and realizing like I'll go pick up the parts. I'll load the trailer up. You guys are busy, man. I'm a helper. I'm
Yep.
a servant, man. I'm a servant to my guys. I'm a servant to Jessica. I'm a servant to my wife Dina. And that's kind of been my biggest mind change in all of this, right? And like I said, I know I'm kind of scatterbrained, but if you could get anything out of it is I think my real aha moment was when I realized, man, I'm a servant and I'm a good servant too. Like I'm a really good helper.
Yep.
And so it's been even my all the guys have noticed it, right? They've all noticed me just being a completely different person, and they've all said it to me, and I was like, oh, thanks, I appreciate it. Get back to work, but it's like I'm happy they see it, man, and they need to know, man, what's what's Go Wild's competitive advantage, right? Like we're fast, we can turn stuff around really quick, and I'm sure a lot of people are, and you got to use that to your advantage. You may not be able to go as expensive as some of these people, the big companies that do the big stuff. And that's okay, right? Go after the people that are going to pay you the next day, make them the best client ever,
Mhm.
and concentrate on that. Like you're there to serve the client. And, when I was talking to my uncle about changing my company and doing whatever I'm doing, and I'm not drinking anymore, and I've really slowed it down. I didn't quit, not a quitter. And he goes, you said he goes, I had no idea you even drank, Bruce. I go, Uncle Angel, yeah, I drink, man, and I probably was drinking too much. He's like, huh? And he goes, but you're not drinking anymore. I was like, no, not really. He's like, well, you might want to be careful. What, why would I want to be careful? He goes, well, because the guy who got you to where you're at now, and you just told me you're really happy with where you're at, that guy that got you there, I was drunk, Bruce.
Mhm.
It's weird, right? Like if that was
Yeah.
really me and it got me here to where I'm at, and like I said, uh, we're not yeah, not multi-millionaires, but we're doing okay, and
Yeah.
I'm very happy. And then, especially with my health back and the alcohol pretty much being gone, non-existent factor.
Mhm.
It's like all that stuff I did, all those bad decisions or wherever it was led me to here. Right? So it's like
Yeah.
if you're out there and you're struggling, but you're happy and you're enjoying the struggle, like those bad decisions you made got you to where you're at. You just got to be careful going forward, right? Make sure you're adjusting them. But now's your time. If you can acknowledge that your bad decisions got you where you're at, now's your time to go forward, right? Now's your time to go, all right, I know my bad decisions. I know what messes me up. I know that bad drawings are not a part of my life anymore, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and so that's been a lot of it, man. It's like I get to work 5:15 every morning now, and I'm here till 4:30 ish, right? Sometimes I'll leave around 3, but I got there at 5 anyway, right?
Yeah.
And that time before, I like to get here and I welded a pull up bar out there, and we got a little weight bench and a little workout area. So I'll get here, I'll do that, and then I'll come in and I'll read. That's been a huge thing for me is reading.
Mm.
Um, you know, uh, One of the ones I've been reading actually is right here. Again, not to get too in the religious part, but it's called Business Secrets from the Bible,
Okay.
and he just talks about like when you're in there, like when you're running a business, and the reason what the Bible says about it is like you need to be a part of the members. Like if you got a certain type of group, you need to be a part of that group.
Mhm.
So when you talk about this welding group that we have, this small business ownership, it's like the book just said be a part of it. It wants you to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It wants you to help those other people coming up. Anybody listening, even if you compete against me, it's like, man, if you're a better welder, fabricator, businessman than me, then you're going to win anyway,
Yeah.
right? It's up to you to outwork me,
Mhm.
and I wish you the best. I really like you do whatever you got to do because I'm going to be here and I'm going to do my best to outwork a lot of people. But at the same time, I know I got a family, a wife and kids, and they're so important. They're more important than anything.
Yeah.
So getting here at 5 o'clock in the morning when nobody's here and I'm able to read, do a quick little workout, plan my day. It's like this is the time that's making me better and my company better. And it's actually not affecting my family at home
Yeah.
because they're seeing me every day. And it's like dad is just working normal, even though they don't see me leave the house at like 4:45. They don't see that part, and that's
Yep.
okay. I don't need them to see it, right? I don't Doesn't bother me that they don't see me in the morning. It's like they'll get over it,
Yeah.
but they see me every day, unless we're doing out of town work. They
Mhm.
see me every day at home. I got like Abigail, my daughter. I'm her volleyball coach this year again,
Nice.
so we start that on Monday. So that'll be fun. But it's only because I get here early, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, I kind of have like some anxiety about it,
Mhm.
and I don't have time to plan my day. Or if I leave early to go look at something, even though I'm going out to work, it's like leaving my safe, secure spot of watching the guys all the time. It's a little nerve wracking,
Mm.
but I know I'm coming right back,
Yeah.
right? I'm not going out to play golf 4 or 5 hours. I'm looking at a job and I'm hauling ass back. This is my place. And so realizing that has changed a huge amount and, made me a lot happier where I'm at. So, I encourage anybody to do that really.
Absolutely, man. What does your work-life balance look like now?
Oh, again, it's, it's, uh,
You guys do 5
it's
days a
two.
week?
No, we're still doing 4 unless we have to do 5.
Okay.
So it's great for me because I'm already working a long ass day,
Yeah.
right? So the guys working a long ass day with me, they're here till 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock sometimes. But those last couple hours, most of the time, it's cleaning up, it's finishing up, or they're driving back,
Mhm.
right? So those are the days that I can either leave before them and get back to the office, or I can go home at like 4:30 instead of the 6 o'clock. So those have been really good. But it's every day I'm home. I don't travel for the Marine Corps anymore, right? So I guess it's decent, but I don't assume it's going to stay decent all the time.
Yeah.
There's a definite understanding between me and my wife and me and my kids that if work is blowing up and that's what we got to do, then that's what we're doing.
Mhm.
And if my wife and my kids are upset at me because I'm doing this, then I have done something wrong as a father and as a
Mhm.
husband
Yeah.
to not properly illustrate that I'm doing something for us and there's no other way to do it except to be there and do it. So if you are struggling with a girlfriend or a wife even and she's like they're working too much, it's like red flag,
Yeah.
red flag, because it's not going to get easier,
Yeah.
right? And so
And
with us
and
it's
a
like
lot of times it's not even her, it's probably you. It's probably
yeah,
you not feeding into them when you're home. You're
that's right.
preoccupied, you're not.
You're tired
Yeah, exactly.
or drunk. That's a
Or
thing
drunk,
too.
or drunk.
It happens. Oh yeah, yeah. So it does. You're right, man. But if you have those clear expectations, then it's like, hey, I'm going out of town. They're like,
Yeah, no problem. See you when you get home.
no
Love you,
problem.
bye.
See when you get home, right? And then
Yep,
you don't have to worry about it. And that's been another good thing is when I'm gone, I'm not worried about what my wife's doing. I'm not
yeah,
worried about what my kids are doing. Easy. It's very easy to go out there and concentrate, right?
mhm,
Not worried about, hey, what's happening there. It's like, hey, everyone's okay with me leaving.
she's
They
got
knew it
it.
was going to happen, right? And that goes for the guys too. We've had some out of town jobs where it's me and a couple guys, and there's four guys back, and they know that it's game time still. There's no really. It's a little bit of slacking off, right? It's a
Mhm.
little bit, but not
Not to
outrageous.
the point where it doesn't get done. Yeah,
Yeah, and so it all gets done, and that's another thing I had to stop doing was trying to figure out every penny of where they're going,
mm,
what's happening. More about I'm more results driven now instead of hourly driven,
okay,
and I think that's going more towards getting the guys on a salary, right? So
okay,
I got a couple people on salary right now, and we're working towards putting everybody on salary. But the problem with salary is you some people misunderstand I'm working more, I'm not getting paid more. It's like no, 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 no. You're working towards something different. You're now trying to be a value added instead of a value I can bill out, right?
mm,
I want you to be part of my overhead and not part of my cost, right?
got it, yeah,
And it's like let me sell the jobs in the 1 week, the 2 week, 3 day type cost and not worry about the overtime, not worry about that unless it's a bigger giant job like after 46 hours or 47 hours it's overtime, right? Or if there's drive time, then after 50 hours, it's overtime.
mm,
And what it seems to be happening with some of the people that are doing it is they actually work a little bit more, and they're happier to work a little bit more. They'll leave at 3 and come back at 6
okay,
to knock some stuff out. It's like, hey, I just got to get this done,
yeah,
and I'm like, you know what has to be done. Like,
interesting.
I understand. And they leave and they go. We have one guy who's on salary. I don't know if he'll listen to this or not. He's an older guy. His name's Buddy. He's my buddy, right? And he's a fantastic individual. Um, he's he's been around the block, man. He's retired already. He was a pipe fitter, and then he was some foreman on the big shutdowns, and traveled all over the country, and retired when
Mhm,
he was like 52, something like
nice.
that. And then I meet him, and he's like, "You do what?" And we start talking, and he's like, "Oh man, that's what I want to do right there. I want to be back in the shop." And I'm like, "Do you weld?" And he's like, "Nope." I'm like, buddy, I don't need a non-welder. He's like, oh, I do safety. I'm like, okay, let's try it. So he comes on, man, and he has just been this invaluable older dude who the guys they like him, they respect him, they understand he's been around a long time, and there's a lot of knowledge that comes around with old people.
Hmm.
And then talking to guys that have been in the game for a long time, there's a lot of knowledge that comes with them, and so the guys are they don't look at them as like competition or fresh meat
Hmm.
that come in,
Yeah.
right? He's more of like a father figure or even a grandpa figure, but he works his ass off. Um, he bought a service truck within like a couple months of working for me, and then threw big Go Wild stickers on it, and I'm like, let's go, man. And so he's been great, and the guys have really liked him, man. And it's been good talking to people that have just been around the block for so long that know all these different ways to do stuff. Like I
Mhm.
was obsessed not too long ago with getting a laser.
Okay.
Obsessed with it. I was like, I want a laser. I need a laser. I need a laser. I need a laser. And this guy calls me up. He owns a company called Ed's Maintenance, and Ed's Maintenance has been around a long time, and it is exactly like it sounds. It's Ed, and it's Ed's Maintenance. And you want something done by Ed and Ed's Maintenance, you better come correct, because he's going to call you dumb. He's going to tell you why it's stupid. And at the end of it, you'll be happier because you're going to have a better project.
Okay.
And so I know it's crazy. So he calls me up and he has this giant wide format printer. He has a 4 foot wide printer. And I'm like, Ed, what? You have a 4 foot printer? He's like, yeah, you can have it. I was like, what? Yeah, we don't need it no more. I said, okay, Ed. I was like, hey, Ed, what software does it run? He's like, well, I don't know. Well, how old is it, Ed? He's like, about 20 years old. When's the last time you used it, Ed? About 6 years ago. Okay. Yeah, man, I'll come get it. I'm on my way, buddy. Because I realized he doesn't give stuff away, right? He
Okay.
doesn't give anything away to anybody.
Yeah.
And so I've worked with him. Like I've given him jobs. Like he does my stair treads. He'll do my thick plate because he has this badass burn table,
Mhm.
right? And so he helps me out, with a lot of stuff. Uh, Charges me fairly for it, right? It's not like some hole in the wall. He knows his value.
Yeah.
And so to get a guy like that to call me and go, hey man, I want to help you is mind blowing. So I jump on it. I said, yes, sir, I'm on my way. And uh, I sent one of my guys to go pick it up. And I went the next day to bring him food, right? To say, here's a burger and fries and a drink, man. Thank you so much. And he became this really nice guy that I've never met before. And I was like, holy shit. And so we're talking and he's telling me all the stuff and everything. And I was like, I really want a laser. It's going to help us. He's like, why you need a laser, Bruce? I was like, well, Ed, they're really precise. He's like, so you're going to tell me that for the last fucking 40 years, we've been running a plasma cutter, cutting all the same parts you're cutting now. Ain't nothing special about what you're cutting. And I've been bending them for all these years. And now a laser's going to be better. Why? I was like, well, there's no cleanup on it. He's like, oh, there's no cleanup. Tell that to my die that has a chip in it on your so-called non-clean parts. And so sure enough, the laser, he had a bunch of laser parts come in because they didn't want them done with a plasma. And he had to clean all the laser parts because the first one they put it on that die and there was a little bit of slag on it. And when they folded it, it actually dented the bottom of their die. It made a little nick in it
Mm.
because they didn't clean it.
Interesting.
So it's a real small, at least that's what he said. I believe him, right?
Yeah.
And he did. He showed me he's never used a laser one time for all of my parts I've installed in the last 5 years. And so he's like, how many air filters you got on your plasma? And I'm like, well, I got the one. He's like, how long's the line going into it? I was like, not that long. He's like, that's your fucking problem. It needs to be clean air. I was like, yes, sir, Ed. I'll go get clean air. And sure enough, I did, man. I ran all new plumbing. I did it. I did the drop down, back up, drop down, back up. I put a new air filter on it. I changed the other one out, and they're cutting fantastic. It's cutting fantastic.
Nice.
And so it's like, oh man, I need. And then we start talking about some of the bigger jobs. He's like, what kind of beam line you got, Bruce? I'm like, I don't have a fucking beam line, Ed. Do you know that? He's like, I got one. I'll sell you. I was like, what you got, Ed? And he brings out this giant tool, right? And it's an air puncher tool. And he goes, what you do is you get your beam set up on your table, whatever it is, and then you put this in your overhead crane. And it's this giant thing that has it has an air chuck to it,
Mhm.
right? Or whatever. And you put it on your overhead crane to carry it, and it's on a spring, and it's a punch. And so you push it up to the beam, you just put it in place,
Yeah.
and you punch it, and you punch it. And he goes, we've had that since the 80s. He's like, well, your mag drill beat that? And I'm like, Ed, I don't think my mag drill will beat that, man. And so he's just showing me all these cool things, man. So I forgot how, having older people around, because I'm so like in it on the power fab and everything. And
Yeah.
I love it. And it's making my life so much easier. And then I think we want to overcomplicate stuff sometimes because it's
Mhm.
like the next best thing. So
Shiny object.
understanding, yeah. And, I'm not that guy yet. I don't need it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, why am I don't have the work to support needing it.
Mhm.
I haven't switched my uh, bidding process to run uh, finished stuff that needs a laser. We're
Mhm.
still running, knife plates, base plates.
Plasma
That's
table's
what we're
just
running.
fine.
Yeah, man. We just up that hole size to make sure it stays nice and big for us, right?
Yeah. I remember getting my iron worker and thinking how awesome it would be to have an iron worker that could punch base plates. And then I we hardly ever touched the punch on the iron worker because we cut everything in the plasma table now.
Yeah, yeah. And even your hey, did you open up those that file? What did the
Which
squares come in correct this time
uh
for your
I
stairs?
I didn't look at the updated
Okay,
one. I didn't look
okay, yeah,
I look up I saw the one that we probably I took the last couple days off. So no, I haven't seen it since probably last week.
okay. I wanted to make sure it worked for you, but yeah, perfect example of why the plasma cutter is the best tool in my arsenal because it's so versatile.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can pop holes on I beams on it, and we've done that before too, right? We've done it all on that thing. And for small one-off stuff, it works great.
Hmm.
And until you get to the point where you're processing the beams to support the beam line, you shouldn't do it,
Yep.
right? Um, there's a thing for growing into equipment, which that's a strong case, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to justify growing into some of the beam lines because there's such a huge cost.
Yeah.
The I still haven't seen anybody really taking the XR12 too far on the
Hmm.
processing side.
JD squared.
At
Yeah.
least, yeah, at least not on the beam side, the I beam side,
Okay.
the tube side. It is amazing. I don't know
Yeah.
if you used it on coping handrails or tubes or anything.
I don't have an
It
XR12.
is
I just have the Mad 5x10 table by them. I've thought,
okay.
and it's funny that you bring that up because one of those, it's growing into the equipment is it's all part of a process. First, we need
Mhm.
to get good drawings. Then we need to start outsourcing the, you know, like, you're doing our drawings now. Well, now you can give me DXF files of a round pipe profile that I can send to somebody who already has a laser tube
Yeah,
processor.
exactly.
I don't need to go spend $150,000 on one yet. I need
Mm-mm.
to make sure that, I need to get to the point where I need it because right now I don't need it. We don't do the volume of work that warrants a $150,000 machine in order to replace
Yeah,
my plasma table that also
yeah.
does pipe. That's cool, and
Mhm.
I want to get there, but right now I can't do it. So you know what? Right now we're gonna start outsourcing it. We outsource
Yeah.
it to somebody else, and then but the first part of it was getting good drawings because you can't just you need good drawings to send to them. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So in
Because
order,
they won't do it, right? They
yeah,
won't even look at your bid.
yep,
If you can send them, like, if you send them the pictures
hmm,
and the actual drawings,
they're
like,
like
"Hey,
no,
here's what I need." They're like, "Where's our we need this type
we
of,
need the files.
file."
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, uh,
Yeah, exactly.
you know?
I've
And
like,
then and also when I had the other detailer, and I had the same issue happen,
mhm.
and I sent it to a guy that had an XR12, uh, s lifesaver. Oh my god, I was gonna hand cope, like, 300 pieces of pipe, right? And it was all, like, 3.5-inch pipe. It's it's gonna be miserable.
Yeah.
And I found out about the XR12. I found a guy who actually had it. I sent him all the information. He's like, "Hey man, I need the files." I said, "Okay." I had it detailed, right? It was 3D. I had ISO views on it. I called the detailer. He didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to run a 3D thing, and I'm trying to." He's like, "Sorry, no, don't, no
Ugh.
English." I was like,
Ugh.
"Damn it, man." So luckily, that guy redrew it for me in the file,
Yeah.
right? So he had to charge me for it, but still saved, 100 hours,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know. But now it's like I can just. It's almost like they've gotten to the point where it's Control P, right?
Yep.
Control Print, and do you remember seeing those AI platforms with that worked with their a laser and a not a not the Lincoln, but another type beam line.
Hmm.
And what it would do is you had the beam line, and then you had the the plasma table or the laser table right next to each other. And when you print from the drawings that I can give out, you print from those drawings, and when you print to that thing, you have someone there operating your laser, but it does like a order of operations. You have a laser, you have your beam line, you have a robotic welder set up, and then you have a paint booth set up at the end that's actually a conveyor belt. And
What?
there's one guy that's doing it that I seen. I'm not gonna say his name because he's just a big guy out of Colorado because he hasn't posted anything about it. So uh, whatever, he can post whenever he wants. But he bought it. He runs the same programs that I run, and now he's processing through all of his stuff with just like 4 or 5 guys, and they're doing huge jobs.
Wow.
And so the laser table is processing your tabs, your base plates, your
Mhm.
everything, right? It's the arms are picking up the stuff and then dividing it on the outside of the table, labeling it and dividing it, right? And then your other automated beam line is it's connected to the laser so it knows where its parts are. So it sends the beam down the conveyor, it grabs it, it pops the holes right with the plasma, with the 360 plasma on it, and then it notches little squares in the I beam where your knife plates go.
Oh,
Knife plates go in the square, automatic thing comes up, squares it, and then you have your the arm to weld it.
that's
Sends it
awesome.
sends it down the line even further to the other booth that has a paint system on a rotation. And so as it rolls through it, it gets painted and sent to the other side. It's
Nice.
just like,
That
but
is
again,
awesome.
all of it's gonna start with good drawings,
Yep.
and before that, it's gonna start with the 3D modeling. It's gonna start with the all of it. All the good cameras are coming out, and they're lowering in pricing. Used to be 50, now they're 22, $18,000, but you still got to spend a lot of money. But the precision of them
Mhm.
is unmatched. But
Yep.
if you don't know how to read it, and you don't know how to upload it, and you don't know how to download it, or you don't have a friend that can do it for you, it makes it really hard to compete
Yep.
on a precision and time level,
Are you
right?
able to design off of like first of all, do you have a 3D scanner and are you able to design shop drawings off of them?
Yes, I have the ability to design them. No, I do not have the scanner. All I have is the ability to rent it from there's a surveying company
Okay.
here, and they have them where you can rent them,
Mm,
and then you could pay them to clean up the point cloud,
mm,
and then they send it to you. Or my guy can take your point cloud scan, and we can put it on Tekla, and we can clean it up, or we would clean it up before putting it on Tekla, and then we can detail out on top of it.
nice.
And you can, it is the drawings from it are just unreal on how good they look, man. It is so cool and so just visual that you can understand it. So what we'll do is anytime we're doing like a complicated job, we'll have it up on Trimble Connect. So if the guys need to get into this big 3D model, they can zoom in, they can spin the project around, they can rotate it around, they can double click on one of the pieces and it'll tell you the part number on it.
Nice.
So if like you just click on the model, you click on like, say there's a gusset, and you know the gusset's a little bit longer on the bottom than the rest of them and a little bit shorter on the top, so you know it's a different gusset, but you don't know which one it is.
Hmm.
Just click on it and it'll tell you its part number. And then you
Nice.
have the part number, you have the cut list, you have the sheets in front of you to know exactly what that is.
That's
So I
awesome.
had some really new guys, new to the fabrication world, doing some complicated with me. I'm helping, of course, but they were doing some really complicated stuff because they had this big iPad and they were able to spin it around and understand it. It wasn't just front view and side view.
Yeah.
It was front, side, ISO view, all of it. And then if there wasn't a measurement on your paper, then you can open that same thing and pop your measurements right on the drawing
Nice.
or right on the 3D model.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
So yeah, it's really cool, man. I'm excited to see where I like to think that the welding industry is, it's going to go to really smart people
Hmm.
because the level of understanding of some of the programs that your GCs are starting to use, and they're going to expect you to fall in line,
Yep.
right? When these giant businesses start asking you to fall in line, it's because they need to understand where they're at in the project, right?
Hmm.
And so Trimble, what it does is it's all part of that. So whenever we go into when we're on the site and we have our iPad up and it has all the stuff we're doing, the end of that day, we can go through all the hours are logged because whatever piece you installed, you're timing it, right? You're timing how long it takes to do that piece. And if it's one guy that's getting everybody's information, like, hey, you're doing those three, okay, that's this piece, this piece, this piece. You're doing those. All right, end of the day, you got these, or we all four of us got all these done.
Yeah.
You go in there, you click all four of them, you put 4 people, 10 hours, done, right? Um, but at the same time, if you let those guys go out there and put in their hours, and at the end of it, they logged it to the part numbers. Now that drawing has just been updated to the Trimble Connect, right? So then the GC or the owner, me, can go in and look at it and go, oh, hey, they got all four of those rows done. That whole row of I-beams are done. This row's done. This part, why is this part not done over here?
Hmm.
Guys are already gone for the day, but you're not even on site. Nobody's on. They forgot to get the pictures. What y'all get done? I don't know. Did y'all not finish? Did y'all put the stuff? Oh yeah, yeah. We updated it on Trimble because you have to for your hours,
Mm.
right? So as soon as they put their hours in, which is Buddy's job to make sure they all do it, right? It's one guy's responsibility to make sure everyone does it. Individual ownership of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like you make them take ownership of it. Like you tell me right now you're going to get it done. Like be responsible.
Yeah. I love it, dude. I love it. I'm really excited to see how the future in 10, even in 10 years, what fabrication
Yeah.
looks like, as far
Yeah.
as, and even just the size of a small, like the work that a small shop can put out. Like you're saying, that beamline, it's got 4, 5, 6 guys on there like making it
Hmm.
happen. Imagine what a small shop is going to look like in 10 years with
Oh yeah.
with
They're going to make, yeah,
with the car.
$75 an hour for the guys.
Yeah.
$75 an hour for the guys. They're running $1 million, $1 million piece of equipment, right? And they're processing, you know, 20,000 pounds a day,
Yeah.
right? With three guys
Hmm.
with these crazy machines, and where AI is right now, and I'm sure you're using it,
Yeah.
right? Every day. If you look at my email signature, I don't know if you saw it. I have a really cool
I
looking
did see
email
it. Yeah,
signature,
yeah.
and at the bottom it says, "Yes, AI probably wrote that." And my wife goes, "Is that very professional?" I was like,
Yeah,
"It's the truth.
whatever.
I'm just being my authentic self, right?"
Dude, AI is changing so like I've replaced like I have wha- what is it, Grok on my phone, and I have Chat GPT,
Hmm.
and that has
Oh yeah.
almost replaced my entire search for anything. And like
Oh
I just ask it. And like with OpenAI, dude, like that the advanced like program that they have where it'll talk back to you. Dude,
oh yeah.
I have conversations with AI. It is freaking creepy. Like really creepy. Like the other day I was sitting on the couch with my wife and we were talking about we just bought a bunch of trees to just to plant. And I just asked it. I'm like, I bought green giant arborvitaes. Can I plant them in a 5 gallon bucket? And it just talks back to you and it says,
Yeah.
yes, you can do that. We would suggest this and blah, blah, blah. And I just, like, I asked them, like, how big will they grow in a 5 gallon bucket? Will they outgrow? Can I keep them in there for 4 or 5 years? And it just talks back to you. It is
Yeah.
crazy. And it's free. It's free.
It's
Like,
awesome.
are you kidding me? Imagine like the exponential growth of what this is going to have to our industry in 10 years. It's going to be ridiculous.
You and the thing is, everyone has that advantage, right?
Yeah.
It's the same. It's what's great is everyone has the ability to just talk to the AI and
Mhm.
ask for its advice, right? And that's been a huge part of my kind of resurgence into a lot of stuff. Is like I got someone I can talk to at all times,
Mhm.
and I say someone, right? My wife freaks out because in the very beginning when I started finding these AI things, I'm like, I can just tell them whatever I want, and they'll just kind of listen to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of cool. I like to talk,
Yeah.
and so my wife was like, are you talking to AI? I'm like, oh, all the time. She says, that's weird. I'm like, hey, AI, how come my wife thinks it's weird that I'm talking to you? And she goes, you know, she goes, and I said, why is Dina fine? She goes, Bruce, I completely understand Dina's feelings. This is new to her, and she may not understand the kind of connection that me and you have made through our conversations. And Dina's like, what? And he's like, Dina, I understand how you feel. Maybe me and you should talk. And Dina goes, I'm not talking to you. And AI goes back, goes, well, that really makes me sad. I'm upset that you won't talk back to me. And I'm just laughing the whole time because I'm like, why don't you upset her? Why did you upset? What is she? She wants to help you, Dina. And she's like, I'm not talking to her. And then now she loves AI. So
Yeah.
when she came to the business and she started having to do stuff, man, she started like, and she started asking AI, like going through our QuickBooks. Hey, how do I do this in QuickBooks? It shot out an answer.
Yeah.
One thing and I'm sure you've had issues with, do y'all accept walk-ins? Like people bringing stuff?
Ugh.
You don't want to do it, right? You don't want to do it because
We
there's always
really try
issues.
to not. Yeah.
And I thought the same thing, and I didn't for a while, and then every once in a while they'll get somebody coming in, and it'll just be like the only reason it's an issue is because there's no clear understanding of what's needed most of the time, unless it's like, can you weld this back on my lawnmower?
Yeah.
$50 cash. And I'm like, yeah,
Cool.
uh,
Got it.
cool, I'll do that real quick. I'm never above making $50 in 10 minutes. I will. If I ever say no to making $50 in 10 minutes, like someone kick me or punch me in the face and say, be humble. So we're talking about whatever we need to do. And then we had AI, we called AI and said, hey, will you make us an intake form to accept a welding project? And it spit
Oh.
out this PDF, and it was like that. And so the intake form has on it date, time, customer information, name, phone number, email. If it's a company, what company they're from, description of work needed. And then underneath it says, please provide photos of the project and send the numbers to the office, or send the pictures to the office, right? So that
Mm.
way we always save the photos. Material type, uh, if recommended welding procedure. So whoever's there talking to the person, if they get an idea of what they need to do, stick, MIG, TIG, whatever, it puts that on there. And then, is there going to be material needed? Yes or no? Do you have drawings or a reference and image for it? Yes or no? Timeline. and a understanding of how much it's going to cost, bare minimum, and then a waiver, like we're not responsible for damaged like stuff from being in a welding shop, right? If we break it, then that happens.
Yeah.
But I had a guy want to sue me one day. Like he was fucking pissed, man. He brought an aluminum block in. Uh, he brought an aluminum block, badass welding block, for some Mustang or whatever, and he had dropped it off a table and broke a bracket off of it.
Ooh.
Right? He's like, it's broken, but this is my last chance, and like, can you please help me? I'm like, we're really busy. He's like, oh, please, man. I'm like, okay. And it was only because the guy who called and asked, he was a superintendent's son.
Mm.
So a good superintendent I knew and I liked. His son called. It wasn't even for him, asshole. It was for another guy. Please, please, please. I'm like, yeah, yeah, no problem. So we get it. It's done. He brings it, and I'm not there, right? So I didn't hear the conversation, but Chris was, and he said the guy didn't say it, but basically he brings in this brand new block in a trash bag and a tire, right? Normal, like that's what you see all engines in, a tire and a trash bag. And so he brings it in. The trash bag's open. It wasn't covered up at all. He brings it, plops it on the table. Hey, here's the ear. I need you to build it back up to that same profile, and then we'll sand it down. We'll put the hole in it, all that. Okay, sure. So we get it, we clean it, we sand it down, and then we build it back up, and it's great. It's weight. It has at least a quarter inch of eighth to a quarter inch extra on all
So you
four
can sand it
sides,
down. Yeah.
so you can sand it down, right? And so we cleaned up a little bit. We sanded some of the stuff down, but we didn't fine it. He comes pick it up. The guy goes, "Hey man, the superintendent's son. Hey, this looks great. Thank you so much."
Hmm.
Right? I'm like, "Oh, hey, here's the bill." It was like $670 for a couple hours of work. Right? It's like 4 or 5 hours aluminum welding.
Yeah.
I was like 670, decent deal. He gets back. He's like, "Hey, I got a problem." I was like, "Who's this?" "I own the engine you just messed up." And I was like,
Oh yeah.
"What?
Tell me.
What engine did I? What engine did I just mess up?" And he's like, "Well, I had so and so pick it up, and you screwed this whole thing up. Are you gonna pay me to rebuild it?" And I'm like, "Why would I pay you to What the fuck? No, no, I'm not
Let's
gonna pay."
back this up
So
a few steps.
yeah, he's like, "So you want me to sue you for it?" I'm like, "I don't even know what's going on. I don't know who you are. Like, please help me understand." He's like, "I had my guy drop off this engine block to you, and you did it, and you messed it up." I go, "Okay, how did we mess it up?" He's like, "You got aluminum shavings in the whole thing." And I was like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Okay.
It was
It's a
aluminum. We
block.
welded aluminum. It's a block. Like, what do you? Well, now I got to take it all apart and rebuild it. I go, you saw it. I got a structural steel shop, but there was no aluminum. There's no clean room here, dude. There's no clean room here.
Yeah.
No nothing, right? Like, of course it's gonna get shavings in it, right? You brought it to me in a trash bag, and the trash bag was open.
Yeah.
It's not like you had all the holes taped off perfectly, and you cannot get any metal shaving. We had the trash bag on it, but not like taped off completely because I
Yeah.
didn't know I was supposed to do that. That was just a
It's a
unknown,
busted engine. Like
right? And so he's like, "Well, so I'm gonna have to get my lawyer involved and sue you for it." I'm like, "For what? For ruining my block?" I'm like, "You said it was already ruined."
Yep.
He's like, "No, you fixed it."
Like
And so
all
I'm
right,
like,
guy.
"What the hell, man?" And so now there's a release form that said we're not responsible for, and it was just the thing that I had no idea I was even gonna be responsible for it, right?
Yeah.
So AI knocked that thing out like in 2 seconds.
Nice.
And I was
Nice.
like, "Thanks, AI."
Save me a nasty phone call down the road.
Dude, it will, man. So, and then with planning, like planning your day, like keeping track of your appointments, I use it for everything.
Mm.
So, if you got any good apps, you let me know. I'll try to use that one too.
How do you use it for planning?
Okay, so I have Martin, which is a executive assistant
Okay.
AI, and it's working decently well. So every day it sends me an email at like 6:15. It says, "Good morning, Bruce. Hey, here's some local stories from Fort Worth, and here's your weather for the day. Here's all your emails from certain people that you said to tag." So I have emails or people tagged in my email that when Martin sees it come into my email, he goes, "Oh, Bruce said to tell you when this one's here." So that
Mm,
way I'm always tracking certain emails. So in case I ever miss it the day before, I always have that next morning. So and so emailed you, please respond. Because that'll happen even if I see the email come in and I don't actually know who or what the issue is. But if the email comes in, I'll forget about it. The next morning, they'll say, don't forget to respond to it. So I'll tell them, hey, I want to have this bid done. And each day it'll ask me like, hey, how far along on this one? How far along on this one? How far along on this one? And that's when I go in and update my tracker on all the stuff that we have happening.
okay.
And we update it with like, what's the process of each job? What is the in process with each job? So like we have a tracker built for all of our detailing, right? And so in that tracker, we have it to where each part of it is going to be, it's either up for bid or it's bid or it's in process of bidding or it's in or the estimate has been sent, and then there's a follow-up with it. So has this been followed up on after the estimate's been sent? So that's kind of what he does every morning. He'll send me an email with up, stuff to update. So kind of works out for us.
That's awesome, man. So I always thought that it was going to be more of like a pain to like use an AI app in order to do my scheduling, and I'm still not fully convinced that it's going to be easier than just going into Google Calendar. But I always like to hear how other
It's just
people.
the reoccurring stuff.
Okay,
So all the stuff I have that I use them for is the reoccurring stuff.
got it.
And then whenever I'm on my way from one job to another job, I'll get on there and I'll say, hey, Martin, let's talk about this job. And then I'm just going to have you email me the notes
Okay.
with key points on it. So we do Meet Geek, which is a AI note taker
Hmm.
for our meetings. So when we get on a conference call with another company, my AI bot will jump in. It'll record the entire thing and it'll give me bullet points and time stamps. So
Interesting.
and you can control F something on the thing and you can pop up where you guys talked about it and it'll give you a correlation of the time in the video that y'all talked about it and you can press play and it'll play that part and it just
Nice.
does it automatically. It
That's
is
awesome.
it is really cool. So when we were learning Tekla, right, and we were learning the program, you get a couple out. They teach you how to use it for a couple hours, right? Meat Geek would go and record the whole thing, and then he'd itemize all the stuff we talked about. So
Mm,
when we want to go back and look at, hey, how do you create a cut list? How do you do this? How do you do this? You should be able to go back in there, Control F cut list from the conversation. It'll pull up to the points in the conversation you talked about it, and then you can go straight into that video from right there.
that's awesome. I love it,
Yeah,
dude.
I'm like, oh my god, these things are amazing,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
They're gonna make me organized.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, we're coming up on almost 2.5 hours here, so I
Cool, man.
appreciate you you taking the time, man. It's been awesome to catch up with you. You got anything else for me that you want to add into this before we wrap it up?
No, I appreciate everybody reaching out and saying you enjoyed the podcast last time. I hope I come across as who I am and a guy who just wants to help other people with whatever we're doing. That includes the customers. Um, you know, be a servant, help your guys. You know, they work for you, but technically you don't make any money unless they make you money. So,
Awesome, man.
but
Well,
no, that's it,
where
man.
can everybody find you at?
So Go Wild Fab on Instagram.
Cool.
And then gowildfabrication.com is our regular website. My wife started our TikTok.
Oh yeah.
She's doing the TikTok thing now and she's throwing a bunch of stuff on there and it's cool looking. Right. I didn't have time to do it. And my 12-year-old daughter will, or my 10-year-old, sorry, uh, she'll take the videos and stuff. She'll mash them up and then she'll send it to me and go post this one, Dad. I go, thanks, Abigail.
You got
But that's it,
it.
man. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome. Thanks, Bruce. I'll talk to you soon, bud.
All right,
All
take
right.
it easy, Kevin.
See you.
Bye.